Hello everybody, Flamin' Shark back with another video, and it is a monumental episode because it's the official 20th episode of Fate Stay Night, our second episode of Unlimited Blade Works. Excited to finally get back to this. Feels like it's been too long just since the first episode, and obviously so far we're getting like almost entirely repeat content from the Fate route. I think there's been like tiny variations, but I also don't want to look too closely into that or worry too much about that. Obviously, things will flow and get a lot more, you know, like things will get going. So yeah, it's been a little while. Been a little while. Look at that date when we last played this. That's crazy. Anyways, let's get to it. Yeah, a couple months have passed. That's crazy. But hey, we're going to be posting daily because I literally have to, so things are going to be going well. I'm recording this 2 nights before you'll see, or I guess like a day and a half, whatever, because it's nighttime, Thursday night. I'm back from my trip. I'm back. I'm here to just fully grind and record a bunch of stuff and not even messing around. This is actually a rare case. This is around the time, a lot of times when I record like a Let's Play video, like a Fate or Danganronpa or Persona, if it's a long recording night, I'll record like my reactions and then I'll wrap off the night with like the Let's Play episode. I'm actually starting with the Let's Play episode, and I plan to do some reactions, but I might actually get a second episode of Fate in the tank here, so, I don't know. We'll see how I'm feeling in a couple hours whenever we get to what feels like a good stopping point. But yeah, there was a little bit of variation in the discussion with, the goat and, his tallness. And now it's windy outside the church, so we'll see what happened after our little discussion with Tohsaka and Kotomine. It's windy. I suppose part of it is being atop a hill. Yeah, that is a factor here. Also, this theme is so good, by the way. Such a vibe. The breeze is stronger than below, and the chill that pierces my cheeks has a stronger bite. And there she is. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. She leans forward and pierces me with a stare. That's only natural. The decision that I make is her business, too. Saber. I don't know what it is. I love the way he says saber. I mean, I kind of love the way they all say it. Saber. It just... There's sometimes, especially with like the more like English words, like the Japanese pronunciations sometimes aren't great, but some of them actually sound so much cooler with the Japanese accent. And Seba is definitely one. It's also like, these are the type of conversations that you're gonna probably get in the next like few episodes. I don't know how long before we're gonna get like really divergent pathways in the route, but like I said, we're just here to have fun. I know you guys probably aren't that locked in early on in the route because I do want to keep all this in. And unfortunately, that means the first few episodes might be... I don't even know how long to expect before we're completely off the rails compared to the Fate route in UBW. But like I said, I'm just here to have fun, talk about random stuff. You know, kind of very chill vibes compared to a lot of the rest of the Let's Play, the first 18 episodes. And I'm sure this will get really intense and I'll get a lot more locked in once we get into... definitively new content. That moment flitters through my mind. I take a deep breath and face Saber again. I extend my right hand. I don't know anything about the relationship between master and servant, and what we need to do moving forward. But at the very least, I want to start out on the right foot.
Saber, あれ、もしかして握手はダメか？
いいえ、そんなことはありません。ただ突然だったので驚きました。
Yeah, obviously, like, Emiya has a pretty unique approach to this whole relationship, as we've seen in the Fate route. Again, so interesting to see the similarities and differences between how this relationship develops this time around. Saber says as she takes my hand in hers.
今一度誓いましょう。あなたの身に霊樹がある限り、この身はあなたの剣になると。
That's really all you can ask for.
よくわからないけど、頼む。
Since Saber is so serious, I nod along. Come to think of it, this is an odd sight. Under the stars in the winter night, I'm shaking hands with the girl I just met and exchanging words like some magical contract. Yes, it is an odd sight, but that is literally what is essentially going on, even though this contract, I think especially though when it's with someone as honorable as Saber, it might as well be a magical contract, even though you guys kind of already made the magical contract, but...
その分じゃ放っておいても良さそうね、あなたたち。
Hey! Get fucked. Yeah, there was another person here. I hastily let go of her hand. When I turn around, there's Tohsaka and that knight in the red coat standing there. AKA, there's my goddess and my god, dude. That's the goated ones.
仲いいじゃない。さっきまでは話もしなかったのに、大した変わりようね。何？セイバーのことは完全に信頼したってわけ？
いや、そういうわけじゃないけど、いや、そういうことになるのか。
Shiro's a weird individual, so, you know, you might not be as far off.
まだセイバーのことは何も知らないけど、これから一緒にやっていくんだから。
そう。ならせいぜい気を張りなさい。あなたたちがそうなった以上、私たちも容赦しないから。
Something tells me we're still teaming up. Especially because, again, I'm expecting the Unlimited Blade Works route to be heavily focused on the two people on the screen right now. Oops.
いや、そういうわけじゃないけど、まだセイバーのことは何も知らないけど。
No.
そう。ならせいぜい気を張りなさい。
Mm-hmm.
あなた
Yeah,
た
we
ちがそう
know.
なった以上、私たちも容赦しないから。
No, I didn't want a quick save. I'm trying to... I've, like, totally forgotten... No, god damn it. I've, like, totally forgotten how to, This is how you know it's been a little while since I actually played. How do I'm looking for... Okay, so it's circle. Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm expecting this route to be heavily focused on these two, and... Like I said, outside of the whole Unlimited Blade Works quote at the beginning of the Fate route, or near the beginning, you know what I mean. Other than that, everything about that makes me think that that's a reference to Archer, and we're gonna learn all about Archer's shit that we didn't learn in the Fate route, which also means that, like, things are gonna go differently, presumably, for Archer and Rin, and I wouldn't even be surprised if Rin essentially wins the Holy Grail War in this... reality. I tilt my head. It takes me a second for it to sink in. Yeah, this is one of your opponents.
あのね、私たち敵同士だって理解してる？ここまで連れてきてあげたのは、あなたがまだ敵にもなっていなかったからよ。
Sure, Rin.
けど、これでエミヤ君もマスターの一人でしょ？なら、やるべきことは一つしかないと思うけど。
Well, that's true, but...
なんでさ、俺、トーサカと喧嘩するつもりはないぞ。
God, I love him. He really is an acquired taste, but I will say, Shiro is something. And, like, the pairing between Saber and Shiro really does work so well. Much like I think the pairing between Archer and Rin works so well, but again, I can't wait to explore that deeper, hopefully, in this route.
やっぱりそうきたか。参ったな。これじゃあ連れてきた意味がないじゃない。
Tohsaka drops her shoulders.
リン。
何？私がいいって言うまで口出しはしない約束でしょ、ハーチャー。
それは承知しているが、このままでは拉致が開くまい。
Yeah, we are kind of talking around in circles right now.
相手の覚悟など確かめるまでもない。倒しやすい敵がいるのなら遠慮なく叩くべきだ。
そんなこと言われなくても分かってるけど。
分かっているのなら行動に移せ。それとも何か？君はまたその男に情けをかけるのか？まさかとは思うが、そういう事情ではあるまいな。
そんなわけないでしょ。ただこいつには借りがあるじゃない。それを返さない限り気持ちよく戦えないだけよ。
While they are different, and Rin, like I said, is more of a model mage in a lot of ways, it is kind of funny how, like, they do have, like, a relatively similar, like, core belief system. It is pretty funny. Also, this face is great. Honestly, on both of them, but I was referring to Rin in particular.
また難儀な。では、私は消えるぞ。借りとやらを返したのなら呼んでくれ。
Yeah, that's fair, bro. The Red Knight Archer disappears. Or rather, I just can't see him anymore. According to Tohsaka, servants are spirits. An oversimplification, but yes, they're basically like a higher level of spirit. Saber says that she can't turn into spirit form, but I'm sure she could easily if she was Tohsaka's servant, since Tohsaka is a functional master. Well, aside from that...
まあ、トーサカ、借りってもしかしてさっきのことか。
そうよ。形はどうあれ、エミヤ君はレイジを使ってセイバーを止めたでしょ。だから少しは遠慮してあげなくちゃバランスが悪いってこと。
Sure.
バランスって妙なことにこだわるんだな、トーサカは。
ええ、分かってるわ。こんなの心の贅肉だって理解してるわよ。けどしょうがないじゃない。私借りっぱなしって嫌いなんだから。
It's part of her pride, but she's also doubling it as an excuse to be nice without, in her mind, actually being nice. She snorts and turns away. It's classic tsundere behavior.
けどこんなのは期間限定のサービスなんだから。明日になったら容赦しないから、せいぜいセーバーと作戦でも立てなさい。
つまりサービスは今日いっぱいってわけか？
We'll see about that. Something tells me we're going to have a similar relationship to the first route.
そうよ。まあここまで連れてきたのは私だし。
I'm less sure about the third route because like I said, since I am assuming this is going to be focused on Rin and Archer, I am curious in the third route, which again, I'm still like very unclear as to what that it could even focus on or who it would focus on. I wouldn't be surprised if Rin's less of a player in that route, but I'm expecting her to be even more of a player than she was in the Fate route, and she was a huge part of it.
町に戻るぐらいまでは面倒見てあげるわ。
With that, Tohsaka starts walking without looking back at us.
行きましょう、シロ。彼女の言う通り、ここに長居するのは良くない。
I nod to Saber and follow Tohsaka. The three of us descend the hill. It might be because Tohsaka took the lead, but we make our way back without any conversation. So presumably, and it was even kind of in the save thing, which I don't like that the save thing does kind of... I feel like the save thing can kind of almost give, like, mild spoilers in a sense, because of, like, the way it, like, named the day or whatever. Because, like, that's the thing. By all accounts, we are going to have an encounter this episode with Ilya, just like in the Fate route, which is fine, because I already knew it from the Fate route, but I still... You know, you get what I'm saying. Anyways, there is a simple forked road ahead of us. One path leads to the main street going towards the front of Shinto Station, and the other leads to the big bridge connecting to Miyama. Tosaka stops in front of the intersection.
遠坂なんだよ。いきなり立ち止まって。帰るなら橋の方だろ。
ううん。悪いけど、ここからは一人で帰って。
Interesting.
エミヤくんにかまけてて忘れてたけど、私だって暇じゃないの。せっかくシントにいるんだから、探し物の一つもして帰るわ。
I could be wrong, but... And again, I could be wrong, but I don't remember this.
探し物って他のマスターか。
そう。あなたがどう思っているか知らないけど、私はこの時をずっと待っていた。7人のマスターが揃って、聖杯戦争っていう殺し合いが始まるこの夜をね。
I mean, this sounds like a conversation we had, but... Again, I don't think they actually separate here. I guess we'll have to see how it plays out.
なら、ここでおとなしく帰るなんて選択肢はないでしょ。セイバーを倒せなかった分、他のサーバントでも仕留めないと気が済まないわ。
There is no hesitation in Tosaka's eyes. That made me realize Tohsaka is a mage. Her knowledge and attitude as a mage are set. I wonder why.
だからここでお別れよ。義理は果たしたし、これ以上一緒にいると何かと面倒でしょ。きっぱり別れて、明日からは敵同士にならないと。
It's interesting too, because this is kind of Tosaka's way of being like, now that I've like interacted with you a little bit and I know you, it's like because she is the way she is, she doesn't want to become any more connected to us because she still does want to legitimately win the Holy Grail War, even if, you know, her priorities might be different than most of the other mages participating in the war. You know, she doesn't want to have too deep of a connection to Shiro, and you know, in a way that like it's just because, like I said, she's in some ways very similar to Shiro, but unlike Shiro, she does a better job of convincing herself that she's not like that. So it's interesting, right? Because from what we've seen, Archer is the same way. And that's what's really funny about these pairs, right? Because Archer and Rin are very similar to each other in a similar way to Saber and Shiro. And it's interesting that the master-servant pairings, at least for the two main masters, is very... I don't want to say they mirror each other necessarily, but they are very similar people in a lot of ways. And then there are inherent differences between Saber and Shiro, and I'm sure between Archer and Rin that we'll dive deeper into again over time. But it is really interesting to see that. Like, instead of going for like an opposites thing, it does, like, there is more of a connection here that definitely makes it, you know, plays further into kind of the destiny factor that's clearly at play in this universe. Why does she have this part of her that's the opposite of a mage exactly? Tohsaka didn't explain the rules out of a sense of duty. She just wanted to be fair, and after figuring out my circumstances, supported me. Exactly. None of that inherently, that's not how mages act. So now that the situation is clear, it goes back to how it was before. As a master, I will be a target for battle from now on. Despite all that, Tohsaka made sure to clear the air first. For her, everything that happened tonight was unnecessary. It'll just be a pain if we're in each other's faces. That's how she really feels. She shouldn't have gotten involved to begin with. And this is where you see kind of like Shiro's intelligence, right? Because like Shiro is like, I feel like he's a very like simple character on face value, but he's so much more than what he is on face value. And like this is part of why, again, Emiya Shiro is a really interesting character. And these are the type of things that you can, you know, explore exceptionally well in a visual novel format, which is why I've talked about this before. This is like as good, like such a great storytelling medium. Yeah. I don't want to go too deep into these conversations because I've had a lot of these conversations in the Fate route, but it is interesting looking at like early like content and like viewing it through the lens of what we know about these characters. But she isn't dumb, so she must have known this is how it would go. And you see, like, then he goes and psychoanalyzes her a step further, being like, well, she's also smart, so she understands the things that I can see about her. And yet she helped me out, all without thinking about cost or benefit. The Tohsaka in front of me is so different from the one I see at school. Even putting it nicely, she's harsh and cranky, a real sourpuss, and so different from what she normally projects that it makes me want to scream. What's up with the way you act at school? Man, she almost seems like a fraud. Yet still, Tohsaka Rin is also exactly how everyone thought she was. That's such a great way to put it, too.
Tohsaka, いいやつなんだな。
Damn.
何よ突然。おだてたって手は抜かないわよ。
He understands that. I know that, exactly. Because she won't go easy on me. It'll be a pain to also be on the lookout for me. That's what she's saying.
知ってる。けど、できれば敵同士にはなりたくない。俺、お前みたいなやつは好きだ。
I will say, even a conversation like this is low-key kind of goated. Like, this is such a great conversation. And, like, that inner monologue from Shiro is so good. Because everything he's saying is very, like, potent and very clear in the things he actually verbally says to Rin in the scene. But, like, just kind of having that whole package is just, it's good shit. For some reason, Tohsaka falls silent. These deserted suburbs, the church that looms in the distance, and the stillness of the foreigner's cemetery that spreads over the hill feel strangely warm now.
とにかく、サーバントがやられたら迷わずさっきの教会に逃げ込みなさいよ。そうすれば命だけは助かるんだから。
Adorable.
ああ、気が引けるけど、一応聞いておく。けど、そんなことにはならないだろう。どう考えてもセイバーより俺の方が短命だ。
Jesus Christ, bro.
うん。
Yeah, that's Shiro for you. Tohsaka reacts strangely again. She lets out a deep sigh as if she's fed up with me and glances at Seiba.
いいわ。これ以上の忠告は本当に感情移入になっちゃうから言わない。
More than I already am.
せいぜい気をつけなさい。いくらセーバーが優れているからって、マスターであるあなたがやられちゃったらそれまでなんだから。
And that's a good way to frame it to someone like Shiro is to some extent you should try to live for Saber's sake, because obviously with your Messiah complex, living for your own sake is not something that it's not the way he thinks in the heat of the moment, at the very least. Tohsaka turns around and starts walking towards Shinto. However, okay. So I don't remember for sure if we got, like, I don't remember if that scene was in the Fate route. It probably was. But here's where we're gonna get Berserker and Ilya, presumably. She stops dead in her tracks as if she saw a ghost. Yeah, that's definitely Ilya. A youthful voice echoes through the night. The sing-song voice is unmistakably that of a young girl. My line of sight focuses on the top of the hill. There. Give me the shot of the squad. The duo. I don't know when the sky's cleared, but the moon shines brightly in the night. The shadow is long and monstrous, like a demon in a picture book. Amidst the silhouette of the townscape through the late night gloom. Oh, I forgot to... Well, it's fine. There he is! Berserker. Good to see you, big boy, Heracles. Tohsaka mumbles a word that I'm not familiar with. Don't worry, you'll get plenty familiar with it. Although, Berserker and Ilya were a big focus of the Fate route, so I'm curious to see how much our paths are going to cross Berserker in this route, since we did, you know, do a lot with him and Ilya in Fate. Even if I don't know what that means, I can tell that the giant is something different altogether. That thing isn't human. Then, it's one of the beings called Servant. Just like Saber and the others. There she is.
こんばんは、お兄ちゃん。こうして会うのは2度目だね。
Good to see you, Ilya. Ilyasville von Einsberg. The girl says, smiling. The innocence sends a chill down my spine. The dissonance between her and the monstrous shape behind her makes me feel like I'm living a nightmare. You're not far off. What I said earlier about a chill down my spine is underselling it. The chill reaches every part of me, deep into my consciousness. That thing is a monster. I'm not even looking directly at it, but its very presence is making it hard to move.
驚いた。単純な能力だけならセイバー以上じゃない、あれ。
She clicks her tongue and glares at the monster above us. From her back alone, I can tell she is just as terrified as I am, but also determined not to lose to that thing.
アーチャー、あれは力押しでなんとかなる相手じゃない。ここはあなた本来の戦い方に徹するべきよ。
Her voice is barely more than a whisper. The unmaterialized knight gives his response.
了解した。だが、守りはどうする？リンではあれの突進は防げまい。
こっちは3人よ。しのぐだけなら何とでもなるわ。
Even with all of you, I'm not sure it's going to just be playing defense. You must have nodded to that. The presence hanging around Tohsaka vanishes instantly.
エミヤ君、逃げるか戦うかはあなたの自由よ。けど、できるなら何とか逃げなさい。相談は済んだ。なら、始めちゃっていい？
Oh shit. A playful laugh. The girl gives a polite bow, incongruous to the entire situation. There it is.
はじめまして、リン。私はイリア。イリアスフィール・フォン・アインツベルって言えばわかるでしょ？
Yep, Ilyasville von Einsberg.
アインツベル。
She seems familiar with the name and wavers in place. The girl smiles happily in response to Tohsaka's reaction and says,
じゃあ殺すね。やっちゃえ、バーサーカー。
Simple enough. She croons to the monster behind her. Here we go. The gigantic figure flies through the air. This berserker comes tearing down from the top of the hill almost faster than I can follow.
シロ下がって。
Yeah, here we go. In the moonlight, a shower of bullet things rain onto the onrushing giant like shooting stars. So this is supernatural accuracy at work. The silver lights peppering the giant are arrows. That's probably underselling it, though. It's more like strafing fire from a machine gun. Each blow is powerful enough to pierce bedrock. 8 shots of that. The barrage is more than powerful enough to reduce a house to smoking rubble.
嘘、聞いていない。
The giant is completely unaffected. And there's Saber in the fray. The two swords clash. The massive sword wielded by the Berserker amid a hail of arrows, and the sword of Saber, who rushes to meet him, collide with a deafening clang, sending sparks flying. A classic Saber shot there. The two blades strain against each other. In spite of Berserker's overwhelming strength, Saber does not give ground. Silver lights flash through the darkness. Just how much magical energy is stored inside that small body of hers, oh, you have no idea, bro. She's clearly weaker, but she doesn't budge an inch. She blocks, parries, and cuts through the whirlwind of attacks from the giant's massive sword. The spectacle takes my breath away, and I'm not alone in that. Tohsaka and the giant's master stand beside me, watching in fascination as the fight unfolds. Another silver light flashes across the battlefield in response to Tohsaka's command. Yeah, I don't remember all of this, like... I don't remember Archer doing this much. So I do feel like this fight is different. Because they even did the tease where it's like, if you get the chance, you should run or whatever. I don't know if Archer was, like, helping this much. So I am wondering if this fight is a variation compared to what happened in the Fate route. It drives viciously into the giant's temple. Archer's arrow impacts the giant with all the force of an artillery shell. No matter how strong that giant might be, there's no way that won't do some real damage. Yeah, I don't know about that. Saber follows up with a slash from her invisible sword. However, a savage counterattack strikes with such force that Saber is sent flying. Saber slides across the asphalt. The black whirlwind surges after her. Silver lights burst all around in attempts to obstruct the whirlwind. It does nothing. 3 arrows strike the giant's forehead with perfect precision, only to disappear. The giant does not stop. Saber catches his attack on her blade. My scream does nothing. The sheer force of Berserker's blow is such that even though Saber blocks it, she's slammed to the ground with a tremendous thud. Is she feeling dizzy? Saber is on her knees, not moving. Maybe we're gonna get a choice here. The girl's voice echoes across the battlefield. The black giant charges towards Saber with terrifying speed. Tohsaka yells as she starts running. She must be intending to help Saber. Tohsaka runs up the hill and takes what looks like a rock in hand. Pressure! Shackles of obsidian! But German. She throws obsidian stones into the air, and, I mean, they don't look particularly obsidian because they're glowing, but I get it. A storm of silver light rains from the sky. The attack doesn't even slow Berserker's charge. Monster. Bakemono. Even I can see how absurdly strong he is now. Strong isn't even a big enough word for that monster. It must be protected by some kind of law of immortality woven with an insane amount of magical energy. The girl's voice carries clearly to me. The giant swings his huge sword, and Saber blocks bravely, but the force of the blow flings her away once again. Good stuff, though. I'm in this. She is blown away dozens of meters up the hill, and yeah, I was just saying I'm in this. I'm bopping a little bit, and then the music stops. Saber is sent in a perfectly straight line, like a pitcher's fastball, before smashing into the barren road. She must be dead. She might have survived one blow, but there's no way she's okay after receiving 2 blows from that giant's large sword. No chance. The dark whirlwind surges towards her. It's already over. Hasn't that thing had enough? Still, the monstrous thing charges across the barren road. Oh, here we go. Choice time. She's going to die. Even if somehow Saber is still alive, she'll die here and now. And So long as I'm here, I'm dead too.
できるのならなんとか逃げて。
Okay, here's the choice. I can't see Tohsaka, but I can hear her. She went after Berserker. Even after this monster is unscathed from so many powerful attacks, she means to keep fighting it? Ooh. So I can stay here. But now we have do as Tohsaka says, which is run. Interesting, it's a three-way choice. Yeah, we're going after him. Come on, I couldn't do anything even if I wanted to. I know that. This is the Shiro answer. Come on. At least for now. But even now I could still feel her hand in mine. I told her we should do our best. She shook my hand when I offered it. So, yep. If I climb up this hill and chase after the giant, I'll be killed. I suppress a tremble and sprint up the hill as fast as I can. Got the graveyard here. I run into the barren land, and then what I see defies all expectation. Now these visuals are definitely new. I don't remember this. A tombstone goes flying. Every time the giant roars and swings his massive sword, he splits tombstones in two. Yeah, this feels new. Even this, in the midst of that, a knight dashes undaunted through the storm of tombstones. Yo. Yeah, I don't remember these visuals. I feel like I'd remember that visual. That is a sick visual, dude. Saber looks so badass there. That monstrous cleaver weaves a raging storm around the giant. Tombstones crash together in a deafening cacophony. In the center of that storm, Saber fights Berserker, matching his power, if not exceeding it. I wonder if there's a world where we beat Berserker here, and we, like, maybe even use another command spell to beat Berserker here? That would be a crazy, like, way to, like, kind of flip the script on this route, is if we actually kill Berserker, like, at the beginning. Their positions have reversed. She's using her much smaller size to her advantage. Berserker is so large that he's hindered by all the obstacles around them. Saber is able to move around freely, darting between them. These obstacles are trivial to something as strong as Berserker, but it's more than nothing. It's a small advantage, but in a battle like that, like this, even that small advantage is tipping the balance in the other direction now. Wow, Rin just grabbing him by the ear, like, get over here. He's not deaf, but he might as well be. She is absolutely fuming. It's just the way he thinks.
なんでそういうわけにもいかないなんて結論が出るのよ。エミヤ君は戦う手段がないんだから、いるだけ邪魔ってわからない？いろいろやって死ぬんならしょうがないけど、何もせずにやられちゃったら無駄死にってもんじゃない。
I don't know why, but Tohsaka is furious. Oh my god. Weirdly, I'm not upset about how she's yelling at me, because it proves that she cares. Yep. Calling her out.
関係あるわよ。今日一杯は見逃してあげるって言ったんだから、ちゃんと家に帰ってもらわないと困るの、私が。
And now I'm even more confused. Tohsaka really puts up her front at school.
たく、とにかくまだ無事なんだから、今のうちに逃げなさい。
Again, unless I'm going crazy, which I feel like I'm going to be saying this all route, I'm pretty sure this is all new stuff.
あのイリアスフィールってガキ、本気で私たちを皆殺しにするつもりだろうから。
That is the plan.
それは分かってる。けど逃げられるわけないだろう。セイバーがああして戦ってるんだ。俺が離れるわけにはいかない。
How chivalrous.
それは一人前のセリフよ。 何の援護もできないあなたがいても無駄死にするだけでしょ。これが最後よ。いいから早く逃げなさい。
Are they gonna make me choose again?
そんなことあるもんか。体がある限りできることはあるはずだ。それにな、遠坂、自分にできないことを人にやらせる気か、お前。
Tohsaka stares at me, her expression serious.
そうね。自分にできないことをあなたに強制するなんて恥知らずはこっちだった。
It is certainly an interesting way to look at it, but this kind of little moment of clarity between the two is very, very telling. She looks away.
まあ確かに逃げる必要はないかもね。あの調子じゃセイバーは負けないだろうし。
Yeah, Saber's cooking. Tohsaka appears at the cemetery from behind a tree. Their battle continues unchanged. Berserker's attack slash only empty air, tearing apart his surroundings like a tornado. Between those attacks, within the swirling whirlwind and flying clods, and rain of broken tombstones, Saber steps in closer to Berserker and attacks, without even scratching her armor. This is divine, like nothing I've ever seen. After witnessing a battle that is nearly impossible for humans, the fear I felt until just now disappears. In fact, I'm fascinated. Bewitched, one might say. The whole thing about the Holy Grail War hadn't really sunk in yet, and I was so anxious. But after seeing her, all that just fades away. Swords dance around each other in violent, brutal arcs. At the center of that whirlwind of fatal destruction, the knight challenges her enemy without hesitation. Maybe this is what made me accept it all. No matter what may wait in the future, with Saber at my side, I could fight even a god. Ironic.
やっぱりね。怪しいとは思ったけど、バーサーカーの剣を受けたのはわざとだったわけか。
Quietly, Tohsaka mutters without emotion.
それは
Yep, she's
バーサ
analyzing.
ーカーをここに誘い込むためか。
分かってるじゃない。遮蔽物のない場所であれと戦うのは自殺行為よ。だからこそセイバーは戦場にこの場所を選んだ。それも自然にエミヤ君からバーサーカーを遠ざけながらあくまで追い詰められたふりをしてね。
Yeah. That would mean Saber must have decided this was a good place to fight as far back as when we were walking down the hill. She's always thinking about... Yep, always analyzing. Dude, Saber and Rin would have been disgusting
こんな戦いになった
together.
ら援護は期待できない。けど相手はアーチャーの野菜無効化する怪物だもの。
Mm-hmm.
援護なんて初めっから無意味なのよ。
Tohsaka mutters while watching the battle between Saber and Berserker.
アーチャーの、いや、
Those words get my attention. Archer is nowhere to be seen. If he is a bowman, as his name suggests, then close combat probably isn't his thing, but... Well... That's very unclear at this point. A lot of question marks surrounding Archer. Tohsaka snaps her fingers. Just as she said, either Saber must have struck Berserker, or he must have lost his footing. Berserker, who hadn't so much as faltered until now, loses his balance. Dude, there's no way she's actually gonna cook his ass, right? He unleashes a wild attack in desperation. Saber dodges backward and grips her sword with both hands. This is it. As his desperate attack is dodged, Berserker loses his balance completely, and Saber bends her knees to rush in with all her might. Then...
アーチャー、離れろってどういうこと？
What the fuck? I notice the confusion in Tohsaka's voice as she tilts her head. Then I sense the lethal intent aimed in this direction from far away. Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh my god! Yo! Dude, this is so cool. I love how I went into this episode like, oh, I don't know if there's gonna be variation, and we are like flipping the script on everything. What the hell? Dude, Archer, Saber, double team, Berserker kill shot coming from behind. I see a knight in red holding a bow on a rooftop hundreds of meters away. It's either nausea or chills. He's holding a bow. It's no different from before. Even if he aims perfectly, it won't do any damage. He's about to use his, Is he about to use it? Is he about to cook? Is he about to go full, like, true name bullshit going on here? Like, are we cooking? So there's no sense feeling so threatened by it. And yet, but I get chills anyway. He's not, it's not an arrow, it's something else. It's a sword. It's literally a bow, but it's a sword. That intent to kill isn't directed solely at Berserker. Oh, Saber too? Yeah, he's gonna take out 2 birds in 1 stone. My legs move. Oh. Oh. Oh, that's a good one. I like this. Ooh. This is so exciting, dude. They're cooking right now. This is actually, like, I'm so locked in right now. So I assume bring Saber back means, like, use another fucking command spell. I don't know, though. It might mean, like, physically go in. I'm just gonna say call, but I'm worried she's gonna die here. I hear my voice shouting at Saber before I even realize what I'm doing.
Master?
Saber's steps slow. Saber's steps slow, as if she heard my command. But it's not enough. She won't get away in time. Yeah, okay. Okay, this is gonna be the GG route. I reach my hand out to Saber. Okay. We're about to get a bad end here. She must have understood. Saber turns from Berserker and dashes away from the battlefield as fast as she can. Oh, maybe not. Just as Saber retreats, Archer fires his arrow. What the fuck? Saber jumps clear like sparks from a flame and Berserker rushes after her. Archer's attack impacts between the 2 of them at the center of the battlefield. It's gonna kill both of them. Up until now, his shots have done nothing. Saber approaches as if those arrows aren't even worth dodging. But just then... Yeah, this is gonna kill both of them, isn't it? The giant turns his back to us, attacking the incoming projectiles with furious intensity. In that instant, sound fades entirely. What the fuck are we about to see? What the fuck? I throw myself onto Saber and brace. I must have gone deaf. I can't hear a thing. But I can feel the vibrations in the air shaking my body and heat searing my skin. The blast kicks up all kinds of debris, and I feel something stab into my back. Okay, not necessarily GG, but potentially. I grip my teeth and brace myself. The white flash of light must have lasted only an instant. Somehow I survived. I mean, I wonder if this is unlimited blade works. What the fuck? What the fuck did you do, Archer? I love how we didn't even get to see it either. Saber is clearly stunned by what she's seen. So am I. I have no idea what happened. I just know that Archer's attack wreathed the entire cemetery in flames. At the explosion's center is a smoking crater. That is the extent of his attack's destructive force. In the heart of all that incredible destruction stands the giant, still alive.
Berserker. ランク A に該当する宝具を受けて、なお無傷なんて。
The strength seems to have gone from Saber's voice. Sparks flutter. Okay. Okay. I like this remix. Sparks flutter in the dark night air. I think this is a new remix. We've heard variations of this song, not just the original, but I think this is a new remix. The giant stands motionless in the flames while all present look on in stunned silence. The only sound to be heard is the soft crackling of the flames. Just when I thought the flames might grow out of control, a strange metal, something rolls toward me, clanging against the rubble-strewn ground.
Ken?
What the fuck? What? No, it's an arrow. An arrow with a luxurious hilt and spiral blade. It was a sword, I think, but it was used as an arrow. What the fuck is going on? I recognize those colors. I'm not sure why it captures my attention so much. Oh, I know exactly why it captures your attention so much. You just don't know in this reality. What the fuck? I got chills. The arrows Berserker smashes aside disappear as if simply melting away. They fade without leaving a trace, like candle wax melting in flames. That makes me nauseous for no reason. Dude, I have chills all over my legs right now. Dude, the goosebumps are going crazy. They're on my arms and my legs, actually. I look up and see Archer in the distance. Oh, we are so back. Oh my god, dude, this got so hype out of nowhere. Like, I was just like, oh yeah, we're probably gonna have another episode. Everything's gonna be the same. And this went completely off the rails already. I can't possibly see that far. I can't see it, but somehow I do. Because you have a connection to... Because of... What the fuck? He's smiling. He's smiling as if to say he hadn't just been aiming at Berserker. I have a headache. The chills running down my spine don't stop. My spine is burning and I feel like throwing up. Almost like the time I failed to create a magic circuit and they actually showed the magic circuit there flash for a second as well. Interesting. Back to Berserker. He's got a few tricks up his sleeve, that's for sure. The girl's cheerful voice, but now I'm like, what the fuck? Like, is he gonna somehow be like one of fucking Saber's like is he gonna be like a Knight of the Round Table? Like, what the fuck is going on? Like, I've had no clue this entire time who Archer is. I think I'm actually more lost, but now, like, at least some of the dialogue he had for Shiro makes a little more sense in the Fate route. But like, what the fuck are we even cooking right now? Again, I have no idea what's going on, but this is gonna be something weird. So this is gonna be the end of the Berserker Archer Saber fight. The dark shadow wavers. The giant obeys the girl's voice and retreats through the flames. Interesting. Damn, holy shit, Rin. Oh! So it's kind of like instead of Ilya's focus being on Saber and Shiro, now in this timeline she's more interested in Archer and Rin. Oh, I like that. The giant disappears. The girl in white giggles. Oh, still like Shiro, of course. Still calling him Oni-chan and all that shit. But with those as her parting words, she disappears on the other side of the flames. And just like that, she's gone. I'm sure Tohsaka doesn't actually plan to go after her, despite what she said. Even I could tell that the girl just let us go. I can't imagine Tohsaka seeking out a fight like that. It'd be too reckless.
助かりましたマスター。あなたが声をかけてくれなければ、私もアーチャーの宝具に巻き込まれていた。
I'm glad that actually worked out. Instead of getting me and Saber killed. Aw. Bro's like, this beautiful girl's a little too close to me. Ugh. I tried to say I was glad to help.
マスター。
What's wrong with me? I'm not badly hurt, but I don't feel well, and I think I'm starting to...
エミヤ君何顔が真っ青じゃないあなた。
There's some weird shit going on with Archer, his potential noble phantasm. I don't even want to assume that that's what that was, even though it likely was. There's weird stuff going on all around.
シロ。
I fall to my knees. Suddenly my vision goes white.
しっかり。何があったのです。一体。
I feel someone catch me as I fall. But that feeling fades abruptly as most of my senses simply cut out. All that's left is this throbbing. What's happening? What's wrong with me? I'm slipping into unconsciousness, but my head continues to throb as if I have a fever. We're gonna wake up in our play. Oh shit, I don't know if I should watch this or not. What the fuck is this opening start, dude, with Archer? Interesting. Yep, lot of Rin and Archer focus. Hey, it's Taiga. There's Sakura. Oh, my boy. Lancer, you got Ilian Berserker. We've seen some of these shots before, but some of these were new. Okay, more of Caster versus okay. Again, should I be watching this? Probably not, but like I actually feel like it's not too bad. There's some good animation here. Oh shit. The king. Fucking king, bro. Interesting. 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 An unlimited blade works. That's a lot of blades. And there's the jewel, Tohsaka's jewel. Interesting. There was definitely a debate that I shouldn't have watched that, but I feel like if I watch it once and I just like vibe with it and I don't think hard about it, I think I'm fine. All right. We made it to February 3rd. Let's fucking go. What's this episode called? One Day 3. Okay. The fuck? One day. Oh my goodness. So this is interesting, right? Because we had in the Fate route, we had all these like dreams about things related to Artoria, right? Now we're getting presumably things related to Archer. Although this is kind of, it's weird because it's kind of in the vein of Gilgamesh as well, but obviously this is specifically swords as opposed to like Noble Phantasm crap and like crazy shit like that. So I'm curious. Now I'm assuming this is, of course, especially with the way that we transitioned from where the OP started, I assume this is a dream of Shiro's, and that tracks with what we got in the with the fact that he obviously passed out, and he is, of course, the player character, the protagonist. But very interesting stuff going on here. I've never seen anything like this before. There's a sky of flames overhead. At my feet, the steel of uncountable blades. The remnants of war, perhaps. This world is endless and lifeless. Not a single living thing inhabits it. It's almost like an alternate reality. A wind carries ashes through a forest of blades. The number of swords in this woodland of steel is uncanny. There's not just 10 or 20, not even 100 or 2. Though there has to be an end somewhere, if someone count them all, the total number may as well be unlimited. The myriad weapons thrust upon the earth rust away from disuse. The remains of a great many swords. He thinks that. This place is like a graveyard. He thinks that this place is like a graveyard. Interesting. I don't know what to make of that. Alright, well, we're back at home. My vision returns. It's definitely late in the morning based on how sunny it already is. Bro, dude, that entire, like, sequence from, like, the start of the Berserker fight to the OP got me so locked the hell back in for some Fate Stay Night, bro. Like, that was so hype. I was like, I'm glad, like, I didn't mind, like, that we were keeping things mostly the same for a little while, but but when it actually just flipped the script and everything just went out the fucking window, I got so hype, I'm not gonna lie. I hazily opened my eyes, so that does confirm, though, that was a Shiro dream, as we assumed. I hazily opened my eyes and tried to remember the dream I was having. A hill of swords. I must be dreaming that sort of thing because of the battle Saber had in the graveyard and that fire see, this is the thing. I don't think this has anything to do with, well, I mean, that was in some ways related, but ironically now you're dreaming about things unrelated to Saber. This is like at that shot at the end of the OP, this is a Saber and a Shiro and Archer thing. So very curious. And
お目覚め？それは結構大事がなくて何よりだわ。
girl, give me some space. I mean, I know I love you and, like, you know, but geez, girl.
Huh?
I realize Rin Tohsaka is there looking down at me with a real condescending expression as she speaks matter-of-factly. I fly out of bed. Like a startled cat, I scurry so my back is to the wall as fast as I can get from Tohsaka. As far as I can get.
Tohsaka! なぜに今俺の部屋?
My head spins. I was on a hill of swords. No, the burning cemetery was Saber, so why am I sleeping in my room and how is it already morning?
Tohsaka, どうしてお前がここにいて、俺は何してたんだ?
As soon as I say that, my head starts spinning more. This isn't just because I'm disoriented from everything else. What's really making my heart race is seeing Tohsaka's face so close up on top of everything else because she's gorgeous. Which she is.
驚くんならどっちかに驚きなさいよ。どっちも取れるほど器用じゃないでしょ、エミヤ君は。
Damn! Savage. Oblivious to how I feel, Tohsaka just carries on like normal, and that's why we love her so much. It's enough of a slap to the face to bring me to my senses. That's right. It's natural to be surprised by Tohsaka's face as soon as I wake up. If only we could live in a world where that wasn't a surprise. But that must mean...
そうか。状況を見ると、気を失った俺をここまで運んでくれたんだな。
I imagine Saber did that, but generally speaking.
へえ、なんだ、見た目より頭の回転は早いんだ。混乱しているようで、ちゃんと物事は考えてるのね。面白い面白い。
Ugh. Wish she'd stop saying stuff that makes it hard to tell whether she's being critical or giving a compliment.
じゃあ、あれから半日ぐらいしか経ってないのか。
That would be the situation.
俺ん家まで運んでくれたってことは、人目につかないで逃げられたんだ。
ええ、そういうこと。話が早くて助かるわ。
Perhaps that satisfied her. She bids a quick farewell and makes to leave.
おい、どこ行くんだよ、Tohsaka。
あなたまだ寝ぼけてる？どこに行くも何も、ここはあなたの家じゃない。私がいつまでもいていい場所じゃないわ。
She speaks firmly. Her eyes say, "We're enemies," rather pointedly. That is true. Last night, we declared that we would fight at the church. So then, we could only fight each other.
そうだったな。すまない、Tohsaka。 それと、今更だけど、ありがとう。
Yeah, it would be interesting because obviously this part's gonna have so much to do with Archer and Ren. It would be interesting if we don't actually end up living with Ren in this part. You know, things have already shifted quite a bit with the way that Berserker fight went, and that obviously will butterfly into a bunch of other things going differently, of course. Then Tohsaka pauses and glares at me.
待った。どうしてそこで礼なんか出るの？
Oh my god.
いや、だって助けてもらっただろ。敵同士だって言うんなら、なおさらありがたいと思って。
ちょっと、そこに座りなさい、エミヤ君。
Okay. I don't know why she's doing this, but I have a feeling I'd better listen or else.
ほら、早く。
She taps the floor. It seems like she has something serious to tell me. I obediently sit down if that's the case.
いい？まだ分かってないようだから言ってあげるけど、そんな考えじゃ死ぬわよ、あなた。
She's not wrong.
そんな考えってどんなだよ。
だから間違っても敵にありがとうなんて言うなってことよ。いちいちそんな気になってたら命がいくつあっても足りないわ。いい？相手はただの障害よ。人間の形をしていて人間の言葉を喋るからって自分と同じだなんて思わないで。
More or less. Tohsaka explains it with a firm voice and strong look. She is right. If it's dangerous to feel sympathy for an enemy, it'd be a mistake to waste time worrying about this sort of thing. Since I've decided to fight, I need to focus on defeating them. Yeah, I get why she's saying this, but that is...
ちょっと聞いてる？いい？聖杯戦争は聖杯を手に入れるためだけの殺し合いなんだから。そのためには他のマスターを人間として見ないこと。たとえ肉親でも叩き潰す対象と割り切りなさい。まったく、こんなことマスターとしての第一条件じゃない。
Which obviously is something that he's not going to be able to do. Yeah, but then...
それは分かった。けど、ならなんで遠坂は俺を殺さなかったんだ？
Wouldn't that be an issue? Got him! Got her!
それはつまり
Dude, that face she made for a second before she made the face with her hand over her face, so good. It just, where did all that bluster go now? She clears her throat, even more troubled.
単に気分が乗らなかっただけよ。あなたには借りがあったし、寝込みを襲うなんてフェアじゃないもの。だから、なんか気に食わないなって。
Like, all that's cool and all, but you're basically going against everything you're trying to instill into us.
遠坂、お前今、勝つためならいかなる手段も使えみたいなこと言わなかったか？
そうよ。だからこれは私の失点。あなたより私の方が強いから生じた油断かな。まあ、言うなれば心の贅肉ね。
I love flipping that the whole thing. Like, I'm so much stronger than you, so I'm able to do it, even though it's still a mistake. Oh, I've heard her say that before.
心の贅肉？つまり、遠坂が太ってるってことか？
What the fuck? Oh my god, dude, you're insane. Dude, I almost want to slap him for even suggesting that, but like, Tohsaka's gonna do it for me. Yep. Yep.
面白いこと言うのね、エミヤ君は。
Oh, I was way underselling it. Dude, he's literally in the fires of hell right now. Dude, you thought Berserker was intimidating? Holy shit. You ain't seen nothing yet, bitch.
でも、これからは余計な言動は控えた方がいいわよ。軽率な行動は死を招くだけだから。
Oh yeah, all that mercy will be out the window if you call her fat again. Now that is a good use of ellipses. That was scary. I just crawled backwards instinctively.
とにかく私の話はそれだけよ。後のことはあなたのサーバントにでも聞きなさい。
That seems fair. Tohsaka stands up and heads out without stopping this time.
それじゃあね。今度会ったら敵同士だから、その時は覚悟しなさい。
Okay. So we're staying apart for now in this this story arc. With that, she's gone. It must have really been on a whim when she carried me here and treated me. She left without any regret or expressing any sentiment, just a declaration that we're enemies. Interesting.
さて、
I take a quick breath and try to organize my thoughts. I haven't even had time to think since witnessing that fight between Lancer and Archer back at the school, and then things just kept escalating and escalating, even if there was a nice little trip to a church in between all that.
そうか。なら、あの時にいた人影って遠坂だったわけだ。
Pieces finally start falling into place. After that, I got stabbed in the heart by Lancer, somehow got saved and came home, then got attacked by Lancer again.
セイバーに助けられて、
Yeah.
マスターになった。
Yeah, you finished it. So then I had things explained at the church, the Holy Grail War, a battle to the death, the Holy Grail, a device said to grant any wish to the victor. None of that has sunk in yet, but I've been attacked by enemies 3 times already. 2 of those times by the same enemy. I can't afford to stay clueless forever. Most importantly, I said that I would fight. Not that I had any real choice. A life and death game of musical chairs. It's an interesting way to describe it. No matter what your expectations are, once you participate, you can't survive unless you defeat your enemies. The problem is, depending on how you go about it, you run the risk of harming other innocent people who aren't involved. So...
喜べエミヤシロ
Oh my god, my king! My glorious king! Holy shit, dude, I love Kirei so much.
俺の戦う理由は、聖杯戦争に勝ち残るためじゃなくて、
君の望みはようやく叶う
Dude, his voice is so good too.
どんな手を使っても勝ち残ろうとする奴を、力ずくでも止めること。
There should be nothing wrong with that. To champion justice, there it is. I've been practicing magecraft to save any innocent lives that may be wrongly victimized.
よし。まずはセイバーに話を聞かないと。
It's very idealistic, for better or worse. I try to shake the priest's words as they cling to the back of my mind, as I make my way towards the hall. After making a full round of the house, Saber is nowhere to be found. I even checked the detached guest rooms, but I can't find her.
あれ。あの格好なんだ。いればすぐにわかるもんだけど。
Well, it's possible she took it off, but still. Even so, a fully armed and armored Saber still eludes me. Supposedly servants can turn into spirit forms, but unfortunately she can't with me. No, first of all...
マスターだなんて言うけど、俺、あいつのこと何にも知らないんだよな。
I don't even know what Saber is or how servants are able to exist. The one thing I do know is... That was so sick. I feel I can get through this strange battle as long as I'm with this golden-haired knight. You definitely have a puncher's chance, or I guess a slasher's chance, if you have a Saber.
ここにもいない。
I've looked around the entire house. It's the size of a traditional Japanese inn, but I played hide and seek with Fujine when I was a kid, so I know the most efficient way to search it. She must be in the dojo or the shed if she isn't in the house itself. Saber is in the still, silent dojo. But her appearance is different from yesterday, so she did take the armor off. Saber is sitting upright, her legs tucked beneath herself on the wooden floor. She's not wearing her armor. She's changed into rather elegant clothes that really suit her. Now she sits and waits. There she is. Looking as amazing as always. Words fail me at the sight with the sun shining on her golden hair and her pretty face. Like, yeah, I get it, bro. Saber looks beautiful. She strikes a refined, dignified figure as she sits there, eyes closed. She seems to almost merge with the silence, like nothing so much as still water. And that rids me of any further doubt in my mind. servant, or whatever it is, she seems sacrosanct? Sacrosanct. Wow. It is not every day that I see a word in the English language that I have never seen before. Now, I can context clue that pretty easily, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to look it up. Sacrosanct. Let's hear it here.
Sacrosanct.
I don't know if you guys heard that. I'll play it one more time right in the mic.
Sacrosanct.
Yeah, sacrosanct. Adjective, especially of a principle, place, or routine regarded as too important or valuable to be interfered with. The individual's right to work has been upheld as sacrosanct. Interesting. I mean, that's actually a cool word. Wow. Like, as someone who, like, actually, like, writes and stuff, I have a pretty good vocabulary. I have never seen or heard sacrosanct before. So shoutouts to Fate Stay Night for teaching me a new word. So from now on, I'm sure I won't go down the wrong path.
Saber.
I call to her. Saber calmly opens her eyes and meets my gaze.
目が覚めたのですね、シロ。
Her voice is serene. Something rich and calm about her voice hangs in the air.
ああ、ついさっき目が覚めた。セイバーはここで何を？
I do real quick want to not flowchart. Flowchart's cool. Yeah, we still don't have a actual like page of like the servants and stuff, I don't think. Yeah, because those are none of those. Anyways.
体を休めていました。私にはシロの手当てはできませんから。今はせめて自身を万全にしておこうと思いまして。
That makes perfect sense to me. Saber gives a straightforward response as she scrutinizes me. This is, making me nervous in a different way than Tohsaka did.
シロ、どうしました？やはり体がまだ。
いや、こっちも問題ない。勝手に戸惑ってるだけだから気にしないでくれ。
Yeah, trust me, he's totally fine, alright, Saber. You don't need to worry about a thing. I quickly take a step back and shake my head. Looking away from Saber, who tilts her head at me quizzically, I try to calm my rapid heartbeat.
落ち着け。何緊張してんだ、俺は。
Between Tohsaka and Saber, I get it, bro. I take a deep breath, but I don't think this feeling is going away anytime soon.
もう、なんだって着替えてるんだ、セイバーは。
I can't help myself. With Saber in that outfit, I can't help but actually think she's real now. Yeah, it does make her seem a little more human, to be fair. Seriously, she's drop-dead gorgeous. I mean, I saw that yesterday, but it's actually setting in now.
シロ、
As soon as we make eye contact, I can feel my nervousness grow. Then again, I wasn't looking everywhere for her to just stay silent. I wasn't looking everywhere for her just to stay silent. Ugh. It's uncomfortable, but I can't let it be awkward forever. I bite the bullet. I should have asked her yesterday anyway. She really is my servant. And if I really am going to participate in this battle...
話を戻すぞ、セイバー。
Oh yeah, we just got serious. You could tell his tone got serious, and we started playing one of the goated themes.
ああ、いや、改めて聞くけど、お前のことはセイバーって呼んでいいのか？
We could do a deal where he like asks for the name and we don't get it, or who knows? Maybe in this timeline we actually do.
はい。サーバン
But
ト
I
として
doubt it.
契約を交わした以上、私はシロの剣です。その命に従い、敵を撃ち、あなたを守る。
You've already been doing that. Saber says without any hesitation. There's no room for me to question her intentions.
俺の剣になるか。それは聖杯戦争とやらに勝つためにか。
シロはそのために私を呼び出したのではないのですか？
違う。 俺がお前を呼び出したのはただの偶然だ。
Yeah, getting all the pleasantries of sorts out of the way. We haven't really had a chance to have a conversation like this yet, given all the craziness that was happening at the end of last episode and this episode so far.
セイバーも知ってる通り、俺は半人前の魔術師だからな。セイバーには悪いが、俺にはマスターとしての知識も力もない。けど、戦うと決めたからには戦う。未熟なマスターだけど、セイバーはそれでいいのか？
I mean, almost all of them are inexperienced as masters, but a better way to put it is he's inexperienced as a mage, and he's unqualified as a master.
もちろん私のマスターはあなたです、シロ。
Yeah, she already pledged her sword to you, so, you know, that's the way she operates.
これはどうあっても変わらない。サーバントにマスターを選ぶ自由はないのですから。
Is that true? Then I can only do what I can within the best of my ability to respond to Saber.
分かった。それじゃあ、俺はお前のマスターでいいんだな、セイバ
ええ。ですがシロ、私のマスターに敗北は許さない。あなたに勝算がなければ私が作る。可能であるすべての手段を用いて、あなたには聖杯を手に入れてもらいます。
I like it.
私たちサーバントは無償であなたたちマスターに仕えるのではない。
Of course.
私たちも聖杯を欲するがゆえにあなたたちに仕えるのです。
ちょっと待った。聖杯が欲しいって、セイバーもそうなのか？
Yeah, they're not just doing this for no reason, bro.
当然でしょう。もとより霊体である聖杯に触れられるのは同じ霊格を持つサーバントだけです。聖杯戦争に勝利したマスターはサーバントを介して聖杯を手に入れる。その後サーバントは見返りとして望みを叶える。それがサーバントとマスターの関係です、シロ。
Yeah. It's a symbiotic relationship. I see. Come to think of it, there's no reason these absurdly strong heroic spirits would listen to humans normally. They only serve masters as part of a contract to achieve their own goals, exactly. So that means that Saber also has a wish she wants granted. Or rather, she actually does. That's why Saber does not hesitate. But that is...
また、セイバー。可能であるすべての手段と言ったな。それは、勝つためには手段を選ばないってことか。例えば、
like that priest said, involving innocent people who aren't even masters and creating a disastrous scene like 10 years ago.
シロ、それは可能である手段ではありません。私は私が許す行為しかできない。自分を裏切ることは私には不可能です。剣を持たぬ人間に傷を負わせることなど騎士の誓いに反します。ですがマスターが命じるのであれば従うしかありません。その場合、私に踏み入る代償としてその刻印を一ついただくことになりますが。
Man, that's crazy. I get overwhelmed by the edge in her voice. At the same time, I feel relief flooding through me. Saber seemed like a robot because of her extraordinary power and lack of hesitation, but I know now she's not some cold-blooded killer.
そんなことは絶対にさせない。
Man, Shiro's VA is really good. He has a really good Seiyu as well. I don't know if anyone in this game beats Kirei. He is so good. Like, Rin's fantastic, but obviously Shiro has got tons of lines, of course, and he hit, like, serious Shiro's really good. And he's got some decent range,
俺たち
too.
はできる範囲で何とかするしかないからな。本当にすまなかった。知らずにお前を侮辱しちまった。
Aw.
いえ、私もマスターの意図がつかめずに早合点してしまいました。
Aw.
シロは悪くないのですから顔を上げてくれませんか？
思わず謝ってた。
I raised my head. Very sweet. If nothing else, that's a good foundation for their relationship, of course. I don't know what's so funny, but Saber has a small smile on her face. Hmm? Well, I'm glad she's smiling, so I won't question it.
それじゃあもう一つ聞いていいか
Is this gonna be the name?
マスターっていうのは
Oh.
サーバントを召喚する魔術師のことだよな。それはいいんだけど、セイバーたちのことが俺にはまだよくわからない。セイバーとかランサーとか、どうも本名じゃないのはわかるんだが。
ええ。私たちの呼び名は役割ごとにつけられた呼称に過ぎません。そうですね。この際ですから大まかに説明してしまいましょう。
I'd say get out your pens and pencils, but most of you have probably played this game or at least watched the anime. And if you haven't done either, you probably at least watched my Let's Play of the Fate route, so you probably don't need to get out your pen or pencil. But if somehow you have not played this game, have not watched the anime, didn't watch my Fate route Let's Play, I guess the two of you that qualify to all of those, get out your pen, get out your pencil, let's take some notes.
私たちサーバントは英霊です。それぞれが自分の生きた時代で名を馳せたか、あるいは人の身に余る偉業を成し遂げた者たち。どのような手段であれ、一個人の力だけで神域まで上り詰めた存在です。
That's a crazy sentence. Whatever the means, we are beings who have sublimated to deity-esque status. That's just a wild sentence. That much is obvious. Heroic spirits had supernatural abilities while they were alive, were celebrated after their deaths, and were promoted to a higher spiritual rank than a ghost or such.
ですが、それは同時に短所でもあります。私たちは英霊であるがゆえに、その弱点を記録に残している。
Yeah, I mean, in some cases, the entity is almost more known for their weakness. Think of like Achilles, right? The Achilles heel. It's literally like, the Achilles is literally a part of the body named after Achilles, right? Like it's such a famous so in some cases you could almost make an argument that the weakness is more famous than the actual entity.
名を明かす。正体を明かすということは、その弱点をさらけ出すことになります。
Yep. And strengths to some extent as well.
敵が怪の精霊ならば問題になりませんが、私たちはお互いが必殺の力を持つ英霊です。弱点を知られれば、まず間違いなくそこを突かれ敗北する。
そうか。英雄ってのは大抵何らかの苦手な相手があるもんな。だからセイバーなんて呼び名で本当の名前を隠しているのか。
Yes.
はい。もっとも、私がセイバーと呼ばれるのはそのためだけではありません。
Because you fall into that class.
聖杯に招かれたサーバントは7人いますが、そのすべてがそれぞれクラスに応じて選ばれているのです。
Here we go. We're about to get the class lesson. Saber, Lancer, Archer, Rider, Caster, Assassin, and Berserker.
クラス？そのセイバーとかアーチャーとか？
Yep.
そうです。元より英霊を丸ごと召喚するということ自体が奇跡に近い。それを7人分というのは聖杯でも手に余る。その解決のため、聖杯はあらかじめ7つの器を用意し、その器に適合する英霊だけを呼び寄せた。この世界に我々が存在できるよりしろを用意したのです。それが7つの役割。
Here we go, the cards. I love these.
Saber.
These are so cool. Saber? And now we're gonna go through the list I just went through.
Lancer.
That card's so sick.
Archer.
That one's pretty cool.
Rider.
I don't know why I don't find that one as cool.
Caster.
That's pretty sick. Wonder if that's supposed to be Merlin.
Assassin.
Come on, that's so badass.
バーサーカー。
I mean, that one's just kind of weird, but it's pretty cool.
聖杯は役割に該当する能力を持った英霊をあらゆる時代から招き寄せる。
That is how it works.
そうしてクラスという殻をかぶった者がサーバントと呼ばれるのです。
なるほど。じゃあセイバーは剣に優れた英霊だからセイバーとして呼ばれたってことか。
More or less.
はい。属性を複数持つ英霊もいますが、こと剣に関しては私の右に出る者はいないと自負しています。
I love that in all humility. That's crazy. Yeah, I'm the
もっ
best.
ともそれがセイバーの欠点でもある。私は魔術師ではありませんから、マスターの剣となって敵を撃つことしかできない。
Thankfully, she has insane magical resistance, though, as we learned in the first route.
剣棒術数には向かないってことだな。いや、それは欠点じゃないと思うけど、セイバーはあんなに強いんだから、もうそれだけで十分だろう。
シロ、戦闘で強いだけではこの戦いは勝ち抜けません。
But you are very clever. You have a lot of intelligence, which I mean, a lot of these opponents are going to be very intelligent, but luckily, you don't have to worry about that with Berserker. He's got battle instincts as Berserker, but he doesn't have, the intelligence that he would have in another form.
例えばの話ですが、敵が自身より白兵戦で優れている場合、あなたならどうしますか？
Hmm.
いや、そうだな。正面から戦っても勝てないって分かってるなら、戦わずになんとかするしかな。
Mm-hmm. I understand once I say that. If their opponent is strong, they're not going to fight fair. Defeating opponents with a sword isn't the only way to fight. If you can't beat them with a sword, all you have to do is beat them some other way. I mean, that's very obvious, but sure.
そういうことです。白兵戦で優れていると相手に知られた場合、相手はまず白兵戦など仕掛けてこないでしょう。
Sure.
アサシンのサーバントは能力こそ低いですが、気配を隠すという能力がありますし、キャスターのサーバントはこの時代にない魔術に精通している。
Yeah, two of the ones that, we kind of have the least info about, too, from the first route.
単純な戦力差だけで楽観はできません。加えて、私たちには宝具がある。どのようなサーバントであれ、英霊である以上は必殺の機会を持っているのです。
宝具？
I've not heard that term. Oh, you're gonna be hearing about it plenty. It's such a cool. Noble phantasms are so cool. Though I think I can glean the meaning from the words.
宝具とは、サーバントが持つ特別な武具のことです。
Mm-hmm.
ランサーの槍やアーチャーの弓、それに私の剣などが該当します。英雄とはそれ単体で英雄とは呼ばれません。彼らはシンボルとなる武具を持つがゆえにヒーローとして特化している。
Yep.
英雄とその武装は一つなのです。ゆえに英霊となった者たちはそれぞれが強力な武具を携えています。
That are part of their legend.
それが宝具。サーバントたちの切り札であり、私たちが最も警戒すべきものです。
Saber says that noble phantasms are weapons that heroic spirits had while they were alive. I recall that Blue Knight's spear. Sucked up all the magical energy in the air and stabbed Saber's chest with an impossible trajectory. That thing is certainly not something that a normal human can handle. That spear itself carried a strong curse, but I felt an amount of magical energy on another level from the words Lancer said back then too. Good old Gabolg. Then could it be?
セイバー、宝具ってのは魔術なのか？確かに、ランサーの槍は曰くありげな槍だったけど、それ自体は槍っていう領域から出てなかっただろ？けど、あいつの言葉で、あの槍は武器の領域から逸脱した。それって魔術の類じゃないのか？
It's a very good observation and question from Shiro, for sure.
ええ。確かに宝具は魔術に近い。例えばランサーの槍です。彼の槍は それ自体が宝具ではありますが、その進化を発揮するのは魔力を注ぎ込み、宝具とはある意味形になった神秘ですから。魔術の発現に栄唱が必要なように、宝具の発動にも栄唱、神明による覚醒が必要になる。ですが、これにも危険はあります。宝具の神明を口にすれば、そのサーバントの正体が分かってしまう。
Yep.
そっか。英雄と武器はセットだもんな。持ってる武器の名前が分かれば、おのずと持ち主の正体も知れる。
Yep. It's funny too because now we're getting a conversation, which I hadn't talked about it, but we've gotten this, you know, now we're kind of back to more like, okay, the stuff that more or less happened similarly or the same to the Fate route, but it's still a really interesting conversation nonetheless. Saber nods in silence. That is why the Noble Phantasm is a trump card. In exchange for revealing the identity, it would launch an unavoidable fatal blow. At least that's the theory. And if that attack misses or fails, the servant has revealed their weaknesses.
それじゃあセイバー、お前の宝具はあの見えない剣なのか？
そうですね。ですが、あれはまだ正体を明かしていません。今の状態で私の神明を知るサーバントはいないでしょう。
I know it. With that, Saber looks away uncomfortably for a second.
シロ、その件についてお願いがあります。
She's not going to tell us, of course.
お願いってどんな？
私の神明のことです。本来サーバントはマスターにのみ神明を明かし、今後の対策を練ります。ですがシローは魔術師として未熟です。優れた魔術師ならば、シローの思考を読むことも可能でしょう。ですから。
ああ、名前は明かせないってことか。そうだな。確かにその通りだ。催眠とか暗示とかいないとは思うけど、他のマスターにマガン持ちがいたらベラベラ秘密を喋りかねないし。
Interesting.
よし、そうしよう。セイバーの宝具の使いどころはセイバー自身の判断に任せる。
Yep.
本当にそんなにあっさりと。
I mean, that's the direction you wanted to take this, though, Saber, and he trusts you.
あっさりじゃないぞ。ちゃんと考えて納得したんだ。考えた末の合意だから気にすんな。
Sure. Moving on. We've talked through most things, but I still don't think I understand the whole situation. Come to think of it, it's strange. I decided to fight, yet the only opponent that I know of is Tohsaka, and I have no intention of fighting her at all. Well, actually, she's ready to fight me, so I guess I'm not the one in a position to say that.
なあ、セイバー。マスターやサーバントってなんか目印はないのか？このままじゃどうも勝手がわからないんだが。
いいえ、残念ながら明確な判別方法はありません。ただ、近くにいるのならサーバントはサーバントの気配を察知できます。それが実体化しているのならなおさらです。サーバントはそれ自体が強力な魔力ですから。
And because of the disadvantage of your situation, Saber is more noticeable than the other servants because she's in the physical form 100% of the time.
シローもバーサーカーの気配は感じ取れたでしょ？
それはそうだけどな。襲われて初めてわかるなんていうのはまずいだろう。せめて近づかれる前に気づかないと対応できない。
では、マスターの気配をたどるのはどうですか？マスターとて魔術師です。魔術を生りとする以上、魔力は必ず漏れています。
Sure.
悪い。
Oops, sorry.
あいにくそんな器用な真似はできない。
Yeah, he's pretty useless. I didn't even realize Tohsaka's identity, and we go to the same school. We were in the same building for 2 years, and on top of that, I saw her many times.
まいったな。これじゃ確かに犯人前ってバカにされるわけだ。マスターとしての証も霊樹だけだし、前途は多難か。
The good news is you have your girl. I sigh heavily. And then...
シロ、少し目を閉じてもらえますか？
Damn girl, we're already about to get to smacking the lips. Saber's face is stern as she speaks.
目を閉じるってなんで？
あなたがマスターだと証明するためです。いいですから、目を閉じて呼吸を整えてください。
Okay. I close my eyes. I feel something slightly touching my forehead. Wait, it's oddly pointed. Could it be the end of her sword?
セイバー、ちょっと待て。なんか変なことしてないか、お前。
マスター、黙って私の指先に意識を集中してください。あなたも魔術師なら、それでこちらの魔力を感じ取れるでしょう。
Oh, so it's Saber's finger touching me. I pulled myself together and quiet my mind. Whoa. Hey, it's her stat card. I love it. I mean, it's a bunch of gibberish, but it is her stat. Dude, that's so sick. What is this? Yep, servant data added. Love it.
今のなんだ？
Weapon data added. Yep, there it is. There they are. Yep. Have everything but the true name. Everything but the master. Everything with the true name. And yeah, unfortunately, you don't get to carry over this stuff, so I have to actually, like, you know, keep the notes, and then obviously everything but the true name, we know, obviously, a lot of the information, but not everything. There's still, obviously, unknown information, of course, but, yeah, we don't have much here, but, a lot of cool stuff there. Yep, barrier, invisible air, barrier of the Wind King. Obviously, there's more to that than we know, but...
なんだではありません。あなたと私は契約によってつながっているのですから、私の状態は把握できて当然です。
Yep.
把握って今のが？
どのような形で把握したのかは知りません。サーバントの能力を測るのは、あくまで素人が見る基準です。単純に色で識別するマスターもいれば、獣に例えて見分けるマスターもいます。つまり、個人差はあれど、本人にとって最も判別しやすい捉え方をする。
Yeah, for us, it's like it's D&D stats or whatever the fuck.
これはマスターとしての基本ですから、今後は頻繁に確かめてください。私と同様、一度見た相手ならば、その詳細が理解できているはずですから。
Yep. I think I get it now. I was surprised because it was so sudden, but I might be able to act a bit more like a master now.
マスター、簡略しましたが、私にできる説明は以上です。
It was a lovely abbreviated explanation, Saber.
ああ、駆け足だけど合点がいった。すまなかったな、セイバー。
すまなかったではありません。状況が分かったのなら、これからどうするかを決めるべきではないですか。
That's true. Saber leans forward attentively, awaiting my next words. This tells me Saber is probably the same as Tohsaka. She's the sort to strike first.
いや、どうするも何も別段変わったことはしないぞ。トーサカみたいに自分から他のマスターを倒しに行くなんて気はないからな。
シロ、それでは話が違う。あなたはマスターとして聖杯を手に入れる気がないのですか？
Saber's eyes narrow. Yeah, she's like, oh, wait a minute. I thought we were on the same page here, bro. Those eyes are those of a cool-headed knight that does not accept any disagreement. Maybe a little more than just a cool-headed knight. But yes. I stare back, trying not to let myself be intimidated and clearly convey my intentions.
ある。けどそれは悪い奴に渡らないようにしたいからだ。俺には自分から聖杯が欲しいっていう理由はない。けど、それは戦わないって意味じゃないぞ。見習いだけど俺は魔術師だ。自分が後戻りできない場所にいることぐらい理解してる。無傷で何もしないままじゃ生き残れないってことは分かってる。
Of course.
では、魔術師として避けられない戦い。つまり聖杯を手に入れるためではなく、 聖杯による争いを防ぐために戦うというのですか、あなたは。
ん？ああ、そういうことになるのか。そうだな。きっとそういうことだ。うまく言葉にできないけど、そういう戦いになら価値があるだろう。
It's definitely interesting. Yeah. Honestly, the idea of a holy grail doesn't feel real to me. Rightfully so, that makes sense. But preventing battles, that I can fight my hardest for, and do it with pride.
わからない。シローは魔術師だという。ならば万能である聖杯を欲するはずです。自分では叶えられない望みがあるからこそ、魔術師は魔術を極めるのではないのですか。
This obviously goes back into what Kotomine said, but of course, this part he can't really deny. It goes back to his whole champion of justice stuff.
何言ってるんだ。
Whether he
叶えられ
can
ない
accept
望み
it
なん
or
て持ってな
not.
いぞ。
Yeah.
やらなくちゃいけないことは山ほどあるけどな。
Yeah. That's why I need to do everything in my power to keep innocent people out of this battle. That in and of itself is the thing, in a lot of ways, that he desires above all else. Ironically
それでは
enough.
シローは聖杯がいらないというのですか。聖杯のためには戦わないと。
そうは言ってないだろう。戦うからには聖杯は手に入れるつもりだぞ。
それこそ矛盾している。
They are.
あなたには必要がないものをなぜ戦ってまで欲するというのです。
Well, you want it, though. Well, because winning means you get the Holy Grail. And most of all...
セイバーには必要なんだろ。なら、必ず手に入れなくちゃ。
Yeah, exactly. It's a team. Yep. Oh, it's so good. So good. I'm just getting all these flashbacks to, like, the late stages of the Fate route, and I'm just... Oh, it's so weird going through, like, this early stuff with, like, that context. It's crazy that I'm also going to have to do this a third time down the line when we do Heaven's Feel.
ああ、他のマスターがどんなやつかは知
This
らない。
theme is goated.
もしかすると、中にはすごくいいやつだっているかもしれない。
I would say that is true.
けど、俺はセイバーの味方をするって決めたんだ。そのセイバーが聖杯を手に入れたいっていうなら、最大限手を貸すのは当たり前だろう。
It's such a simple way of being like, well, you want it, so we're gonna do what we can to make it happen.
その、親父の受け売りなんだけどな。正義の味方になるエゴイストになれって。
Oh, it's so interesting on so many levels. And then the fourth time when I get to go back in time and do Fate Zero, man, dude. Oh, dude, that's gonna be insane. Literally everyone I know, regardless of how much they like Fate, everyone I know that like has seen Fate Zero is like, this shit's so fire. Oh, I'm so excited for that when we get to that a million years still from now.
誰にも彼にも味方なんてしてたら意味がないんだから、自分が信用できる、自分が好きな相手だけの味方をしなくちゃダメだって。今までそうは思えなかったけど、今はそう考えるべきだと思う。俺は自分のために戦うなんてのはできない。
Yep.
けど、セイバーのために戦うんなら、それがいい。
Hell yeah. And to be honest, if it's something this girl wants that seriously, it's only natural to want to obtain it for her no matter what. Aw. I mean, don't all guys think that way? I get it, bro. I really do.
では、私が聖杯を諦めれば戦わないというのですか、あなたは。
I wouldn't want that. But if Saber does that, everything I thought of so far falls apart.
いや、それでも同じだ。一度戦うと言ったんだ。だから逃げない。これは絶対だ、セイバー。
He's made up his mind, and when Emiyashiro makes up his mind, he's almost impossible to change it. I look at her straight in the eye as I declare this. Saber doesn't respond immediately. She takes a deep breath and looks at me.
わかりました。マスターであるあなたがそう言うのなら、私は従うだけです。 私の目的は聖杯であり、あなたの目的が争いの頂点であっても、行き着く場所は同じですから。
That's probably the best way to look at it in Saber's case.
ですが、シロ。
Saber stops abruptly. She seems to look far into the distance.
私にはうまく言えないのですが、それではシロは後悔する。
Damn.
きっと後悔することになる。
So good. So she says, oh, that's just scene end. Love it. Oh, it's so good. Is it food time? Since it's noon already and we missed breakfast, we decide to have lunch for now. Exactly, of course. I'm starting to get a little, little shred of hungry, just a little tiny bit. A little peckish, as one might say. Saber can't turn into spirit form like Archer, since unlike the other masters, I'm not providing her the magical energy that she needs. It goes without saying that I'm an inexperienced master. She says she can prevent the consumption of magical energy by getting sleep, but she can't replenish it no matter how much she limits herself. In that case, the only way to replenish her energy is by eating food. Since I'm in charge of the meals, I can't cut corners.
サーバントは魔力で実体化しているんだろ？それじゃあ、セイバーの魔力は回復しないんだから、戦っていけばいくほど弱っていくのか。
After putting away the dishes, I ask while I fold my apron.
全く回復しないというわけではありません。魔力というものは活動しているうちは絶え間なく生成されるものです。自然からの供給がないサーバントでも自身の魔術回路だけで少なからず魔力を補充することはできます。
なんだ、なら問題はないんじゃないのか？
さて、どう説明したものか。そうですね。そこの水道を例えにしましょう。
The ratio is off.
今蛇口から水滴がこぼれていますね。それが私自身の魔力生成量だと思ってください。そして、
Sure.
その水滴を受け止めているグラスが
And when you're
私自
using
身
it,
です。
it's like it's flowing.
今の状態なら少しずつではありますが、水は私に溜まっていきます。さて、このこぼれている水ですが、これはグラスが重ければ重いほど蛇口の線が開かれていくのです。私はグラスに水が入っている限り蛇口から水を出し続けます。けれどグラスの水がなくなった時、つまりグラスに溜まった魔力を使い切った時、蛇口は完全、そうなれば水の供給はなくなり、グラスはずっと乾いたままでしょう。それがサーバントにとっての消滅です。
Yep, GG's, basically.
肉体を維持できぬほどの傷を負うか、自身を保つほどの魔力を維持できなくなるか。
けど、グラスに一滴でも水が残っていればいいんだろ？少しでもグラスに魔力、重さがあれば、蛇口の線は開いてるんだから、時間が経てばまたグラスに水は溜まる。
そうですね。ですが、このグラスに溜まった水は常に失われていくのです。水はこうしている間にも使われていますし、戦闘となればその消費量はさらに勢いを増す。逆に言えば、強力な行動ほど水を多く消費するのです。私の宝具を使用するのならば、グラスに水が満ちていようと一瞬で空になる危険もある。
This is getting complicated. The explanation was a little complicated, but I don't think the concept's particularly complicated here, Shiro. To sum it up, since I am figuratively Saber's faucet, that sounds sus as hell. But given where the original version of this game went with this whole concept, appropriately sus, I suppose, she can only restore magical energy at a slow pace since I am only providing the equivalent of a drip. So to fill the cup with water, she has to vanquish her enemies swiftly, followed by resting and conserving energy as efficiently as possible.
それじゃあ宝具を使うなんてのはとんでもない贅沢ってことか。
Didn't stop her before, but there were other things going on that also, helped things out in regards to our specific situation.
そうですね。ですが使えないということはありません。威力を抑えれば一度ぐらいは可能でしょう。
Sure.
何言ってんだ。 そんなことさせられるか。セイバー、宝具を使うのは禁止だぞ。そんなんで死なれたりしたらどう謝っていいかわからない。
That would be problematic. Saber sets her tea down. She frowns and reaches for the tea. Then we're thankfully interrupted by the phone ringing. Fair, okay.
この時間にうちにかかってくる電話。
Who we got? I have a good idea of who it is, and I'm terrified of what'll happen if I were to ignore the call.
はい、もしもし、エミヤですけど。
This is gonna be, Taiga Sensei? Yep, yep, yep. Fujimura desu! I feel dizzy. She's so overpowering. The sound of her voice is enough to pull me back to the everyday reality from before all this nonsense that has happened overnight. Sure.
なんだよ。断っておくけど、俺は暇じゃないぞ、藤根。
Fujine. Oh my god, the ghost on the call. That's great.
今日も京都でお休み返上して教え子の面倒を見てるんだから。
It's strange. It's like she's right in front of me, puffing with pride. Yeah, she does have that effect, even on the phone.
なら世間話をしている場合じゃないな。こっちには火事も泥棒もサーカスも来てないから、安心して部活動に励んでくれ。
Nice. I try to cut the conversation short.
ちょっと待った。恥をしのいでお姉ちゃんが電話してるっていうのに、要件も聞かずに切ったら大変なんだから。
Fair enough. Yeah, and I've been neck deep in it for the past night. Not that saying so would help any. Though I suppose if she's desperate enough to make a call, she really is in trouble?
はいよ。で、要件は何？
シロ、私お弁当が食べたいな。シロが作った甘々の卵焼きとかどうなのよ。
She gonna make us fucking take sweet rolled omelets to school for her?
以上、注文終わり。
What the fuck?
弓道部まで届けられたし、勝ち。
Bro, we just got cooked. What the hell? Honestly, what's up with that teacher? Bro, I don't even know if you want to know the answer to that. Girl is a savage and a weirdo and a silly head and I don't know. Girl's just all over the place.
たく、しょうがねえよな。猛獣って腹減ると暴れるっていうし。
They do say that. I put my apron back on, poor guy. Well, there's leftovers from lunch anyway, and rolled omelets are easy enough to add.
よし、できた。セイバー、ちょっと留守番頼む。
Might not be a good
す
idea.
ぐに戻ってくるから待っててくれ。
Head out to the hallway carrying Fujine's lunch. Saber follows. Yeah, she ain't leaving that easy. She ain't letting you go anywhere, bro. Now this I definitely don't remember too, so I think this is another variation in Unlimited Blade Works. I don't remember making rolled omelets and literally delivering lunch to Fujimura. I put on my shoes. When I look up, there she is. Saber is also putting on her shoes without saying a word.
セイバ
My voice is annoyingly timid. I can already tell what she's going to say, but I have to ask.
ー、その、なんだろう。
外出するのなら同伴します。サーバントはマスターを守るものですから。シロを一人で外を歩かせるなど危険です。
Mm-hmm. I knew it. Well, this is something we would have run into eventually. This is a good opportunity, so I should tell her now.
セイバー、マスターってのは人目につくことを避けるんだろ？なら昼間は安全だよ。人気のない場所に行かない限り、あっちから仕掛けてくることはない。
That's not going to be enough to convince her.
それは承知しています。ですが万が一ということもある。シロはまだ未熟ですから、四六時中共にいなければならないでしょう。
Fair. At all times. Does she mean that literally? Pretty much.
バカ、そんなことできるわけないだろ。大体な、ずっと一緒にいるって、それじゃ寝るときはどうするんだよ。
シロは私を試しているのですか。睡眠中など最も警護すべき対象です。
Oh my god. Wow, wow, wow. I quickly look away to hide my reddening cheeks and try to take a breath to calm myself down. Damn, how stupid of me. It finally sinks in. This is what it means to fight alongside Saber.
シロ、どうしたのです？そこまで驚くことはないでしょう。昨夜リンが行ったことを私がするだけの話ではないですか。
Rin did do that. Are you kidding me? I'm gonna go crazy before we start fighting if you do that.
ダメだそんなの。セイバーにはちゃんと部屋を用意するから、そこを使ってくれ。
Ugh. I won't give in even if you look at me with those eyes. I don't know. Those eyes are pretty easy to give into, if I'm being honest.
シロ、いい加減にしてほしい。大抵の矛盾は我慢してきましたが、これは譲歩できない。あなたの方針はマスターとして間違いだらけだ。
Wow.
理由を聞かなければ従いません。
Saber looks up at me, frustrated. Her stare makes me want to curl in on myself, but I do my best to fire back.
理由なんてない。いいからおとなしくしてろって言ってるんだ。昼間は大丈夫なんだから、セイバーは休んでいればいいだろう。
断ります。明確な理由を聞かなければ、私も引き下がれない。
わかんないやつだな。セイバーは女の子なんだから、同じ部屋でなんか寝れるわけないだろう。
Saber freezes.
ともかく帰ってきたら部屋を用意するから、それまで休んでいてくれ。
Never even thought about it. I make a break for the door. And it's also interesting too, because she's used to being treated as a guy. My face must be red as a tomato. I slap it as I make my way out. Well, anyway, Saber should be convinced since I told her so firmly she's definitely coming. Though I should probably apologize for yelling when I get back. Definitely spying on you. I go down the hill. It takes me 30 minutes to get to the school. A fair distance normally, though I'm walking pretty fast today. The reason being... Yep. Of course. She follows behind me silently. If I don't do anything, she'll follow me right onto the school grounds. I have to tell her clearly right now.
セイバー、家で待っていてくれって言っただろ。マスターの言うことを聞けないのか？
Don't use a command spell, bro. I stop and turn around. Saber glares at me. And maybe you could threaten to use a command spell. And after a moment of clearly mulling over what to say,
さあ、
glaring at me.
サーバントがマスターの指示に従わないということは、おそらく聞こえなかったのでしょう。
She grumpily turns away from me. I ignore her and descend the hill. Behind me, ever present. Oh, this is actually really funny. I love this. This is great, dude. Saber continues to pressure me without saying a word.
いい加減戻れ。これ以上ついてこられると迷惑だって。はっきり言わなくちゃわからないのか？
I glare at the girl that stays exactly 5 meters behind me. Bro, that face. I don't know what her problem is, but I'm met with her silent defiance. Jeez. Gotta hit that fucking Mahiru Koizumi jeez, bro. Like that's how like painful this is getting. I don't get why she's so mad and she's just being stubborn now.
そうかよ。じゃあ好きにしろ。
This time I actually ignore her and start walking. I go up the hill that leads to the school. Miyama has a lot of hills, but this slope is especially long. From the school building that sits on top of the hill, you can get an unobstructed view of the whole town. It's a bit past 1 p.m. Fortunately, I don't see any students around on the way. It must be because it's a Sunday and the ones having club practices are taking a break after eating lunch.
ついてるって言えばついてるけどな。さすがにここから先は無理だ。
Yeah, there's gonna be plenty of questions about, Saber. With a sigh, I surrender. I turn around. Saber is making her way up the hill, still glaring. I imagine that now I've started to ignore her, She's even more grumpy.
セイバー、
なんでしょう。好きにしていいということでしたが。
都合のいいこと言ってくるお前は。
This is so good!
当然です。
The faces too!
私はサーバントですから、ミスミスマスターを危険にさらすわけにはいきません。
わかった。俺の負けだ。諦めたから一緒に学校まで行こう。そうすればお前だって学校が安全だってわかるだろうしさ。それとさっきは怒鳴って悪かった。
Yep.
ほら、そうと決まったら口裏を合わせよう。セイバーは
Yep,
親父の親
yep,
戚で観光がてらに遊びに来たってことでいいか。
This is all more or less what we did in the Fate route too. I grew up the hill alongside Saber.
はい。それでシロの都合がいいのなら構いません。
よし、それじゃあ決まりだ。そうだな。どうせ遅から早か
Yes,
ら顔を
as we saw in the Fate
今
route,
紹介しても同じだよな。
you would in fact have met them sooner or later. That's right. She is bound to meet Fujine and Sakura if she's staying at my place, yeah.
そうだ、セイバー。聞き忘れてたけど、その服どうしたんだ？
これはリンがくれたものです。
Mm.
レーターになれない以上、普段着は必要だろうと。
That is unexpected. I'm surprised at Tohsaka's kindness, but I'm more surprised that she has such mature tastes. Oh, trust me. Rin is based as fuck, and we all know that Rin has the best taste. And trust me, Rin... Let's just say Rin can appreciate Saber in many different ways.
それじゃあ、あの鎧は？今はうちに置いてあるのか？
違います。あの鎧は私の魔力で編まれたものです。解除するということは消すということ。戦闘時になればすぐにでも私の体を守るものです。
Think of it like a magical girl transformation. It's pretty close to that, at least. Shiro?
なんだ。あの武装はいつでも出したり消したりできるってことか。
はい。ですから心配は無用です。ここで敵に襲われようと、シロは私が守護します。
そっか。そりゃ頼もしい。
Mm-hmm. Maybe it's in reaction to keeping quiet until now that my honest opinion slips out. Wow. Saber does not answer to my slip of the tongue and continues up the hill. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, crazy shit has happened at this school, albeit at night. We arrive at school. Good old school. I can only be open about this now. I could pretend that I'm showing a new transfer student around
セイ
school.
バー、もし誰かに呼び止められたら何も言わずに首を振るんだぞ。日本語はわかりませんって顔ができればベストだ。セイバー、なんだよ、怖い顔して。
I mean, you do look and canonically are a foreigner.
いえ、別にシロを見ていたわけではありません。ただ、魔力の残滓が強いもので驚いていただけです。
That tracks, especially if similar things might be happening to what happened last time.
魔力の残滓？本当か？
Mm-hmm. Saber says so, but I don't feel anything because I suck. Well, not that I can't sense magical energy unless it's really concentrated.
はい。と言っても、シロには驚くべきことでもない。リンはシロとは同学年なのでしょ？彼女ほどの魔術師が1年以上いる場所なのです。工房の一つも用意しているでしょうから、どう隠しても魔力は漏れる。
Of course. Magical energy that Saber feels seems to be from Tohsaka. Yeah, of course. Tohsaka's a beast.
あいつも結構同志なんだな。入る前からセイバーに魔力感知されるなんて。あいつ中にいるのか今？
Well, yeah.
いいえ、リン本人はいないようです。彼女がいるのなら、もっと強く感じ取れるでしょう。この敷地には魔術師らしき人間はいない。
I genuinely thought we were gonna run into Ren here.
気になる違和感はありますが、 とりあえず危険はありません。
It might actually be danger to some extent if it is, again, anything like what happened in the Fate route.
だから危険なんてないって言っただろ。ほら、中に入るからちゃんとついてこいよ。
Let's go find Fujimura. Hey!
何？もしかして食事は？
Ayako, you are a character that exists. It comes in handy sometimes to find someone who knows you well enough. Ayako Mitsuzuri, the captain of Kyoto Club, even figured out my reason for being here at a
お
glance.
疲れ。お察しの通り、飯を届けに来た。藤根は中にいるか？
いるいる。いやー、助かった。藤村先生ったら空腹でテンション高くて困ってたのよ。学食も休みだしさ、仕方ないんで買い出しに行こうかって考えあぐねてたところ。
Literally takes a village to take care of Fujine.
そこまで深刻だったか。で、買い出しって、まさか下の豊悦に一人でか？
そこ以外にどこがあるっていうのよ。ただでさえ備品で金食ってるんだから、非常食に金は避けないでしょ。
Fair enough. As expected from Mitsuzuri, who's notorious for being stingy. By the way, Toyoetsu is the name of the supermarket in the shopping district. In the Kyoto Club, anyone who is taking a break and resting their arm muscles is sent on a grocery run as exercise. It's a contradictory custom where it's an excuse to rest your arm, but you have to carry a lot of groceries on the way back.
そりゃ災難だったな。ほら、弁当。遅くなったけど、藤根に渡してやってくれ。
I hold out the paper bag.
お、豪華三段セット。いいね。久しぶりに見た。エミヤはこういう細いの上手なのよね。
Yes, he is. He is, in that regard, he is very wifeable, Ayako, if you have any ideas. I don't know what she's happy about, but she smiles. Oh, she's thinking, that's exactly what she's thinking about. Well, in comparison, she's good at mass production. Mitsuzuri is usually the one who's in charge of dinner at her training camps, and she surprises everyone every time. Oh, that's pretty cool. The world of cooking is vast, considering how her curry was good, despite having basically whole potatoes in it. So, potatoes are weird. This is actually really funny, because I had clam chowder for dinner tonight, and obviously a bunch of potatoes in there. I always struggle, like, I like the potatoes in, like, soups and, like, you know, stuff like that, chowder, curry, whatever, any, like, stew, like these things, but, like, I always struggle to, like, eat a lot of it. It fills me up so much when it's, like, in, like, anything remotely resembling a soup or stew or whatever. But yeah, that, you know. Well, anyway, Mitsuzuri only looks inside the bag but doesn't take it.
おい、嫌味はいいから受け取れ。中、藤根が暴れてて大変なんじゃないのか？
そうね。そう思うんなら、さっさと中に入って藤村先生に手渡してあげるべし。
Oh no.
だいたいね、入り口であんたを返したなんて言ったら、もっとへそ曲げるに決まってるじゃ
Fair
ない。
enough.
私は藤村先生にしごかれたくはないからね。
That's great.
ここまで来たら観念して中に入りな。
Also, of all the times to get a title drop, accept your fate and go in and see Fujimura Sensei. She points to the dojo with her chin. True enough, it would be scary later on if I don't at least go to see her. It's not like I came here for practice, so I could just leave as soon as I hand her the lunch. I give up and head to the archery range. We'll see about that.
お前も長いんだから、朝のうちに藤根の弁当ぐらい確認しとけよ。顧問が生徒の昼飯を物欲しそうに見て回るなんてイメージ悪すぎるぞ。
It is pretty funny.
いや、それが私も今朝は疲れててさ。最近ちょっと忙しくて、あんまり余裕がないんだな。ま、あんたに愚痴ってもしょうがないんだけど。
Oh, stop pretending like you're a fucking master. That you're not, girl. Then she suddenly comes close and whispers in my ear. What?
で、エミヤ。 すっごい美人だけど。
She really is beautiful. I love it. I love it. I love it. Everyone can at least agree that Saber is beautiful as fuck. Love it. She asked me in a nervous voice. Yeah, I'm sure anyone would be surprised seeing Saber. Especially since she's trying to follow me inside the archery range without saying anything.
どうなのよ、エミヤ。あれ、知り合い？
Yeah, basically.
説明すると複雑なんだが、そういうことにしておいてもらえると助かる。ついでに、あいつが部室に入ってもみんなが騒がないように言い含めてくれると、とんでもなく恩に着る。
What is that face? Okay.
事情は気になるけど、その交換条件は気に入った。エミヤ、後でチャラってのはなしだからね。
Interesting. We owe Ayako a favor. Weirdly enough, I wouldn't be surprised if that actually comes up later in this route. Honestly, knowing what I've seen from the boy so far as the writing, I wouldn't be surprised if that actually comes up. It probably won't, but I also wouldn't be surprised if it does. I open the door. Saber silently follows behind Mitsuzuri and me. Here we are. We enter the dojo. The archery range after lunch break is noisy like a battlefield.
藤村先生、美咲さんがお腹痛くて死にそうだと言ってます。さっきの乾パン、いつの時代のだったんですか？
20 years.
そんなのただの腹痛よ。一緒に食べた先生は元気なんだから、美咲さんには昆布茶でも飲ませておきなさい。
Fair enough.
大河先生、巻きわら練習するんでストーブ移動させてください。道場の隅は寒いっす。はい、いい度胸してる君は半ズボンで道場3周、腐った少年ともどもって履き直してきなさいね。
Wow. Miss Taiga is kind of funny though.
先生、出血です。
Taiga
下子くん
sensei?
が鶴で頬を切りました。
Kitako cut her cheek with the bowstring? I wonder if that actually is something that commonly happens as someone who has never held a bow in my life.
その程度なら保健室に行かなくてもいいわ。
It'd be a cool thing to learn though,
裏
archery.
山に植えてあるアロエでも塗っときなさい。いった。もうなんだってこんなに裏反ってんのよ、この弓ってば。こんなんじゃうまく張れないじゃない。そこ上から押さえて張らないの。まだ若いんだから、難しいんなら2人でやんなさい。ひっくり返して切り爪が離れたら後で首を折っちゃうんだから。
Jesus.
こうポキッと
あー
大事な弓を壊した生徒、私が。
That makes a little more sense.
先生、切り子がありません。手が滑ります。あれ、本当？誰か物置に行って在庫を取ってきて。先生、在庫切れです。原因は先日先生が発注を忘れたことだと思います。
Get fucked.
じゃあ1年は野球部から老人バッグちょっぱってくること。
The Rosenbags? Interesting. For anyone who Rosenbags are if you've ever watched baseball, like pro baseball, like MLB or something, if you ever see at the pitcher's mound, there's this like white bag that's by the pitcher's mound. That's a rosin bag, and it's just a grip thing. That it's like you could think of it as legal sticky stuff essentially for the pitcher.
うわー、むちゃくちゃだこの先生。
Oh yeah, she's definitely nuts, but you guys should know that. You've been part of the club for however long. Man, this place doesn't change at all.
さて、
I can't stick around this pandemonium forever.
ちょうどいい。おい、さくら。
Hey, purple hair. Show her to me. I call out to the girl in front of the bow rack. There she is.
先輩。
Yeah, your senpai's here. Good to see you, girl. Sakura returns the bow she is holding and runs to me bewildered.
先輩、どうしたんですか今日は。
Oh no.
もしかして
なあ、藤姉に弁当を届けに来たんだ。
Yeah, bro brought the bento.
悪いんだけど、あそこでむちゃくちゃ言ってる教師を連れてきてくれ。
そうですよね。
Yeah. Sakura putting two and two together here. That's great. Hmm? I'm not sure where her smile goes, but it vanishes at the same time she slumps her shoulders.
そういうこと。藤ね、腹減って無理難題言ってるんだろ。手遅れかもしれないけど、とにかく弁当作ってきたから食わせてやってくれ。それと、昨日は遅くなって悪かった。晩飯作っといてくれてサンキュー。
Mm-hmm.
そう言ってもらえると嬉しいです。
Did you not? Oh, Saber. She looks behind me. There stands a golden-haired girl that is out of place in the archery range.
先輩
Yeah, the jealousy has already begun.
なんだ、もしかして本当に手遅れか。一応
Aw, that's actually so cute! What the hell? He made some for Sakura!
そんなことないです。私もお腹減ってます。
Of course you did.
その先生に半分あげちゃったから。
そんなことだろうと思った。さくらのはすぐに食べられるようにしといたから、そう時間は取らないはずだ。
That's great.
みんなもそういう事情なら昼食を再開しても文句ないだろうけどな。
そうですね。それじゃあごちそうになりますけど、先輩、今日はずっと道場にいるんですか？
I'm assuming not.
そうだ。
Oh,
せ
okay.
っかく来たんだし、部活が終わるまで学校にいるよ。昨日は
Cool.
すっぽかしたし、
We can hang out
今
the
日の夕飯は
dojo.
俺が作るから、さくらも食べに来てくれ。
喜んで。それじゃあすぐに先生を呼んできますね。先輩、お弁当だけ置いてどこかに行くのはなしですよ。
I've been really pleased with the amount of like original content we've gotten in this episode. It's been like I would say most of this episode has been new stuff. Like the conversation with Saber after everything that happened with Berserker was pretty, from what I could recall, pretty much the same conversation, but the whole Berserker fight was different, and all of this is different. So we're getting a lot of new content. Now it's really, I thought it might take another episode or two, but it already is really feeling like a new route now. Sakura goes to get Fujine in a hurry. When I look back, I see the members buzzing in conversation over Saber and Mitsuzuri going around explaining things. Well, for now, I think I've accomplished my initial goal. Oh, what the f-
お腹いっぱい。糖分も頭に回ったし、これでようやく本調子ね。
So now you're just normal crazy instead of dictator crazy. Gotcha, Fujimura. The break room. Fujini sips tea while she eats some sweet bean jelly. Must be because Fujini is calm now, but the sound of bowstring twangs and arrows cutting through the air is all that echoes through the dojo.
先生、そろそろ私も社長に出ますから失礼しますね。
Sounds good.
はいはーい。あ、控えにいる三辻さんに話があるからこっちに来るよう伝えてもらえる？
Oh, what are you guys... Oh, no.
先輩もゆっくりしていってください。できれば久しぶりに指導してもらえると助かります。
Sakura bows and leaves. But as she does so, she stares uneasily at Saber, who is silently watching by the wall.
で、シロはこの後どうするの？部活は5時に終わらせるけど、それまで見学していく？
Seems like that is the plan. What should I do? Just from what I see, Saber seems to be gazing at the archery range with interest herself, so I should. Ooh. Ooh. Student council room, we could probably find, Issei. Show Saber around the school could go a very various different ways. This obviously is one of those that feels just like a simple like situation. So I think we're just gonna stay at the archery range. Why not? Yeah, it would probably cause some trouble if I were to take Saber to walk around school. I should stay in this familiar room and chill until the
決
evening.
めた。お邪魔じゃなかったら見学してるよ、藤音。
よしよし。それじゃあ私は稽古をつけてくるから、シローはここでボケっとしてなさい。あ、弓を持ちたくなったら遠慮しないでいいからね。シローは私の教え子だし、人一倍なってるんだから。
Yeah, he knows what he's doing if he wants to shoot. I feel like this could be an interesting scene with Saber, and obviously having Sakura around is cool too. So, and Fuji. So there's a lot of, between Taiga, Sakura, Saber, and Shiro, there's a lot of interesting stuff that could happen here. And I think those other situations sound interesting too. But
決めた。
よしよし。それじゃあ私は稽古をつけてくるから、シローはここでボケっとしてなさい。あ、弓を持ちたくなったら遠慮しないでいいからね。シローは私の教え子だし、人一倍なってるんだから。
I suppose I am better than the others on the shooting front. Even though I've been away from it, I'm sure I can get the same results as when I was active. But that's not because of archery skills. I can hit the target like I do mentally while I'm working on magecraft.
それはないよ、藤音。俺には Q が欠けてるじゃないか。
何？日に200以上の矢数をかけよ。その他は弓話に過ぎぬってやつ？シロー、つまんないこと知ってるのね。
いや、弓道やってるなら知ってるだろ、これぐらい。ともかく、半端な気持ちじゃ弓は持てないよ。心構えもなってないし、これじゃ会心に入れるかも怪しいもんだしさ。
けどシロー、何も毎日弓を構えて矢数をかけることだけが稽古じゃないよ。
Sure.
弓を持たなくともちゃんと自身を鍛えているなら、それも立派な苦の境地なんだから。そうやってけじめをつけるのもいいけどね、弓に礼を尽くそうとする心もこだわりよ。なんであれ、絡まれば流れはよどむんだから、たまには素直になっときなさい。
Just go with the flow, my guys, is such a not Japanese set. Like it's just a funny translation. I kind of love it though for Fujimura. But it's actually really interesting. This is actually a really cool line because it shows this is that more serious side of Fujimura and giving really good advice to Shiro, and it's that thing where it's she doesn't really know the specifics of it, but he is training himself, and that is obviously translates into his skills at archery. And obviously there's interesting parallels here because of Archer, and wherever we're going to go with Unlimited Blade Works, it's also interesting that this is coming up in Unlimited Blade Works as opposed to Fate. So I think that's obviously pretty funny and obviously intentional, but very interesting, very interesting. I actually really this is a really interesting line from Fujimura, and she's obviously but behind all the memes, but beneath all of the ridiculousness with her, she is a really interesting character, and she is in some ways a good teacher, even if she is maybe a little too ridiculous for it. And that includes her coaching of her Kyoto club. Fujini heads to the range. As if tagging in, Mitsuzuri enters.
邪魔するわよ。って難しい顔してんじゃん、エミヤ。さては藤村先生に急を据えられたな。
Something like that.
そうなるのかな。あんまりこだわるなって叱られた。いやまあ、実にその通りなんだけどな。
あ、そうなんだ。てっきり興味をなくしてやめたと思ってたけど、まだやる気はあったんだ。それちょっと意外ね。
意外？なんだ、三綴には俺が弓に飽きたように見えてたのか？
ねえ、だってあんた一回しか的を外さなかったじゃない。私が弓道部に入った時からエミヤはともかく化け物みたいにうまかった。シャワー全部綺麗でさ、怪獣以外知らないって顔してたものね。それでね、こいつこんなにうまいともう嬉しくもなんともないんだろうなって。ていうか弓を持たなくても会心に入れるんだから、むしろ弓なんて邪魔じゃないってムカついたもんよ。
So this goes back into what I was just saying, but now we're even going into more depth about this idea that, Emiya is a natural archer. And again, it's an interesting angle given that clearly Archer's going to be such a big part of this route. And I don't know, like, I don't know. It's really interesting though. I like what they're doing here, right? Like, this is a very like thematic tie-in. It's very obvious what they're doing here, but that doesn't take away from the fact that it's still like really cool. And I like how we're having this emphasis, right? And this is a whole line of dialogue. This is a whole tree of dialogue that we probably don't even get unless we decide to hang out around the archery range, but it's still really cool.
図星でしょうね。射っていうのはさ、自分を射抜く精神でしょ。弓道の矢は的を射るんじゃなくて、的を狙う自身の心を射るのよ。
Yeah, because we're diving deeper into the psychology of this.
だから自身と向き合えないもの、自身を射抜けないものにその精神は伝わらない。
It's really interesting to hear all this coming from Ayako, though, of all people. In other words, Kyoto is a way to kill oneself, to make yourself transparent and aim to be one with nature. The 8 stages of shooting are for that. Ashibumi, the footing. Dozukuri, correct posture. Yugame, readying the bow. Uchiokoshi, the action of raising the bow. That's like very close to Uchikoshi, who ironically is a big visual novel potato that I have played one of his games on this channel before. Hikiwake, drawing the bow. Kai, the full draw. Hanare, the release. And Zanshin, the follow-through of the shot. Like I said, I have like baseball experience, and like a lot of this is kind of in the, like swing batting is not a lot of this is, you know, like a similar process. Specifically with Kai, the unity of the target and oneself. With the release of the arrow that has become oneself, that snapshot in time is called Hanare. The self that becomes further away with a hit, as well as the action and result becoming one. It all converges to make the past and future into a singular point. That is Zanshin. It's a ritual, practice to build oneself, and in a lot of ways it's similar to what he does with his magecraft. That's right. Basically, Kyoto's process resembles meditation in magecraft. Exactly, yep. And that's why he's so good at it, because he spends all that time practicing, you know, his meditation in magecraft. He's basically practicing Kyoto without actually, you know, holding the bow.
ま、釈迦に説法だけどさ。弓道は矢を的中させることはおまけで、本当はそこに至る心構えを得るための道じゃない。術じゃなくて道なんだからさ。
And that's a big theme in Fate in general, but we're doing this both with the meditation and magecraft and with Kyoto, that it's about the process, not the results, right? And that's something that is actually a big theme throughout Fate's Stay Night, and it's a really interesting kind of thing that we're touching on here in this conversation. This is a really interesting conversation. Not to say I'm sure there were really cool conversations with the other choices, but I am really glad that I chose to stick around the archery, because I'm finding, like, this is a very... I don't know how else to put it other than like a very intellectually stimulating conversation. It's just really interesting.
けど逆に言えば、弓道ってのは弓がなければその境地にはたどり着けない。
Interesting.
そのあたり、エミヤには退屈だったんじゃないかって思ったのよね。私たちは矢を放ってそれが当たった時に、あ、来たって錯覚できる。射は手段に過ぎないって分かっていても、矢が当たったことでしか自分が綺麗になれたのかがわからない。
So yeah, going even further into what I was saying, right? Like, this is that thing, right? It's about the process, not the result. And because Shiro is such an expert on the process, you know, he doesn't even need to see the result necessarily, right? But because he is such a master of the process, the results follow, right? But the results are almost like an illusion of understanding the process, but it's all about the process, and that is a constant that's a thing in really in all sports and in almost everything in life, right? The process is everything. And not everything has a fully repetitive process that can be the exact same every time, but generally speaking, the greater you are at the process of doing something, the greater you become at the actual thing, and the results follow, right? And I think that's something that's very like this is just something that you could really take a lot from in life in general. Like, this is a really interesting thought process to apply to your life, and there's many different things in life that you can apply this idea and this concept to.
けどエミヤ、あんたは矢の行方なんてどうでもいいタイプよ。
Yep.
弓道において的中させるだけなら誰だってできるのよ。射砲発節胴作りなんて面倒なことは簡略して当たる技術だけを突き詰めればとりあえず誰だって的には当てられる。
I think it's just so interesting that Mitsuzuri is like this in tune with what Shiro thinks, and like has been able to like has been able to observe all of this. It's really interesting. Like now I'm starting, see, it's so funny, but this conversation, I literally made the joke that like, Ayako, you're not a master, but now I'm starting to wonder if Ayako is more of a character than I gave her credit for.
けどそれは当てているだけ。本当の射は当たるのよ。弓を持つ人間がどんなに下手なやつでもね。
そんなことはないけどな。俺だって的を射抜くために射場に立つんだから。
だからそれよ。本当なら弓を持って射場に立つよりもっと手っ取り早い方法があるんじゃない？そもそも弓を持つなんてことがあんたには余分なのよ。あんたさ、前に一度だけ外れを出したじゃない。その時絶対に動揺してるだろうって見に行ったらエミヤは今まで通りだった。
That's great.
どうしてって聞いたら、いや、今のは外れるイメージだったから外したんだなんてしれっと言うんだもの。
That's so ridiculous.
結果として外れたんじゃなくて、あんたは自分の意思で外したんでしょ。
Because you got so used to hitting it every time that you were like, I'm gonna visualize a miss to make sure I do,
それで
just
思
so
っ
I
たのよ。
can.
こいつはいつも的に矢が刺さっている映像を見て、その後に指を離していたんだなって。
So that's where she got a lot of this perception of Shiro from.
何言ってんだ。そんなの基本だろ。三つ釣りだって矢が当たるところを想像してその通りに指を離すんじゃないのか？
Yes, but not to the level, to the degree that you do, and you don't even realize the extent in which you actually do envision it because it's so second nature to you from your magecraft training.
当然よ。誰だってね、こうなったらいいな、こうなりたいなっていろいろやるでしょ。
Yeah.
けどそれは想像よ。エミヤみたいに見れてるわけじゃない。
And this also goes back to the whole sword thing from Fate and like envisioning the sword, right? And it's just like the way that he's trained and the way that he's built, like, right? It's a whole thing with Emiya that's again, like I said, playing into multiple different themes because it is also playing into stuff that we saw in the Fate route as well. So it's just, this is a really cool conversation. And I feel like in this episode I've actually been pretty happy with myself because I've actually been flowing pretty well. I haven't like lingered too much on certain things, but you guys know that if I'm really interested in talking about something, I am gonna linger on it. And weirdly enough, of everything in this episode, and there was some incredible stuff in this episode, I was getting goosebumps and chills earlier in this episode. And yet, like, I think from just a purely intellectual standpoint, this has been my favorite conversation of the episode. Weird how that works, but
それって自然と一体化してるってことだ。武道でいうところの無の境地だろ。
Sure. I don't know if I can actually envision it like that, but I can agree to the nothingness part. Being able to erase oneself to make a circuit is the sign of a strong mage. to make the self transparent and rid oneself of any attachments and desires to reach a goal, simply chasing after the result. When it comes to making oneself into nothingness, the training for Kyoto and Magecraft are similar.
難しい話だな。で、結局何が言いたかったんだ？三綴りは。
エミヤは無欲だから透けやすいってこと。もっと強欲で自己中でわがままになれ。若いうちから達人になってもつまんないでしょ。
Wow.
神事を見習えとまでは言わないけど、少しは楽しいことでもやったら？
I won't tell you to be an absolute dickhead like Shinji, but why don't you at least be a little bit fun? I'm at a loss for words. On one hand, I don't really see it, but on the other, I can't think of any way of anything that I consider fun. That's actually crazy, bro. You know what I find fun? Playing Fate Stay Night.
若いうちにハメを外しておかないと、年取ってから外し方がわからなくなる。
I mean, to be fair, Sakura is kind of the same way, to be honest, from what I've seen, but maybe not to the same extent.
そういうの、世間では会社なしっていうのよ。
Savage. She gives me a pointed, do you understand sort of look. Sort of surprising from her.
参ったな。同級生に老後の心配をされるほど深刻だったか。なんだってそこまで俺に構うんだよ、お前は。
だってエミヤ、笑わないでしょ。
Damn, she's really observant. Like, I'm like really impressed with Mitsuzuri right now. Like, this is such a good conversation. That's a crazy thing to say.
前の合宿の話。みんなで騒いでた時さ、エミヤが私のとっておきのネタでも笑わなかった。
And she's like, I am funny. I know you might think that women aren't funny, but I guarantee you I am hysterical. I cracked everyone but you.
それはつまり。
それをまだ根に持ってるってわけなのよ。
I keep receipts is crazy. What the fuck? Mitsuzuri says this, bro. She's about to German suplex your ass. Smiling and challenge at me, her chosen opponent. Bro, low-key, like, I mean, it's always gonna be Tohsaka for me, but low-key, can we date Ayako? Like, holy fuck, I love her. Club practice ends by the time the sun sets, as some Doki Doki music starts playing. No, I'm just kidding. The sun goes down early in winter, and they must be taking into account the incidents that have been happening lately.
そういえば三綴り、シンジのやつはどうしたんだ
？Yeah.
今日は姿が見えなかったけど。
I mean, we kind of know, obviously, Rider things are happening, but...
あいつはサボり。新しい女でもできたのか、最近はこんなもんよ。
I mean, honestly, kind of. That's pretty close, to be honest. Mitsuzuri says it as if it's nothing, and makes her way toward the school building. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. It's like Shinji is Shinji, so if you get to see less of Shinji, I'd probably be pretty thrilled, honestly, if I was Mitsuzuri.
じゃあね、私職員室に用があるから。
Interesting. Okay. Cool. The Kyoto captain leaves, fiddling with the room key. Gotta head home, get some dinner, or make some dinner or whatever for Sakura, Fujimura, and Saber. We're at the front gate. With the sun setting on the town below us, I part with the others along with Fujine, Sakura, and Saber. Wow. Everyone sees us off in high spirits as we start down the hill. That's pretty funny, I'm not gonna lie. We descend back into town. Beside me are Sakura and Fujine, and Saber follows slightly behind us.
はてな、あの子、どうして私たちについてくるの?
Yeah. Well, it seems as though she didn't think anything of it at the time, but it's finally catching on.
ねえ、シロ、知り合い?
This is the second time someone's asked me today. Thanks to Mitsuzuri for giving me a rehearsal, I'm able to answer without hesitation.
知り合いだよ。俺が連れてきたんだから当然だろ。
I answered as nonchalantly as I can. Oh no. Bro. The two protective women in Shiro's life. I mean, you got Sakura who's gonna be more, reserved about it, but Fujiwara ain't going to be. That's an ain't right there. Like, she is not going to be. No, she ain't going to be. That's a non-word time.
やっぱりそうですよね。それで先輩、あの人とはどういったご関係なんですか？
シロに外国人さんの友達がいるなんて聞いてなかった。
Yeah, we're just gonna blame this on Kiritsugu.
いや、友達じゃなくて親父の知り合いなんだ。親父が飛び回ってた頃知り合った人の娘さんだって。
キリツグさんの？じゃああの子、キリツグさんを訪ねに来たの？
そういうこと。今日からしばらくうちで暮らすからよろしくしてやってくれ。
Yeah. She'll be staying at my place for a while, and now both of the other women that are always at my place are gonna freak the fuck out, despite finding their relationship with Shiro completely normal. Both Sakura and Fujine reacted the same way at the exact same time. Well, if I was told that girl will start living with you today, then it would be weirder to not be surprised.
シロ、クラスってあの子と同居するっていうの？
That is literally what he said.
同居じゃない。セイバーが滞在するのはほんのちょっとの間だけだ。宿として家を貸すだけなんだから、そう驚くことでもないだろ？
I love how concerned they both are, and I love the way each of them show it. I just love everything about this. That face.
あの人、セイバーさんって言うんですか？
That is a weird name, foreigner or not, but again, I don't know how familiar with like Western names Japanese people are. I would imagine enough to make that maybe seem a little weird, but I don't know. Also, dude, I love the face that Fujimura has right there.
ああ、珍しい名前だけどな。あんまり日本に慣れてないんで変わったところもあると思う。あ、それと不愛想なやつだけど根はいいやつなんだぞ。
Oh lord.
さくらも仲良くしてくれると助かる。
We'll see how it goes.
はい。それはいいです。けど。
Yeah, honestly, that's the last thing that Sakura has on her mind right now. Sakura doesn't make eye contact with me and looks at Fujine as if pleading for help.
藤村先生はセイバーさんの滞在を許可するんですか？
Yeah, of course. She just looks over to fucking Fujimura to get some backup here of sorts.
教師としては当然アウトなんだけど、キリツグさんを頼ってきた子を無下にはできないし、しっかりしてるようだし、間違いは起きないかな。
No, this
シロもそうなんでしょ？
This isn't 2004. You don't have to worry. This isn't 20 years ago. We're not going to do anything weird like we might have 20 years ago. She gives me a sidelong glance.
当然だろ。親父の客なら俺の客だ。失礼なことなんてできないし、何より妹みたいなもんじゃないか。
Damn, hit her with the little sister is crazy.
そういえばあの子何歳？さくらちゃんより年下みたいだけど。
まあそんな感じ。
Yeah. Like, you could just make something up, but yeah, it's just a little suspicious that you don't know, though. Just a little. Fujine stares into my face, and as we're at the bottom of the hill, suddenly...
シロ、あの子のこと好きなの？
Surprise attack!
そんなの知るか。俺だって会ったばっかりなんだからどうこう言えるわけないだろ。
Damn. Oh, my face is hot. I bet my face looks red to Fujine right now. I bet your face is red, bro.
嘘はないけど脈はありか。
The possibility certainly is not zero. This is not Fate Zero, after all. I don't know what she got from that. Fujine crosses her arms and goes quiet, as if she's thinking hard about something. Fujine, what are you thinking about? Dinner time. Yeah, I think we're getting close to the end of the episode. I've been thinking for a while that depending on how long this day was, we're probably just gonna get to the end of the day and call it a day when we get to the end of the day, because that just makes sense to me. And it looks like that's where we're heading, I think. As a result, Saber's stay was approved.
いいんじゃない？ホームステイと思えばいい経験だし、ここって無駄に部屋が多いもの。
Yeah, this place might as well be like a fancy Japanese bed and breakfast, like especially with the amount of good ass food that bro keeps making, and sometimes Sakura and occasionally Rin in another timeline. Fujini's single opinion settles it. Sakura didn't say anything the whole time, but in the end,
私が意見できることじゃありませんから。
you really don't, but it's also like I feel bad saying that. She agreed in the end. And so, dinner time rolls around. I put an extra effort into making dinner to welcome Saber. Okay, what are we going with? Starting with preparing salad-style seared bonito, then fried chicken with a zesty green onion sauce, interesting, a classic meat and potato stew, and to top it off, a variety of tempura, including shrimp. That sounds like so much. Like, that just sounds like just way too much food. I mean, it sounds pretty good. A lot of fried food, too, because you have the fried chicken and you have the tempura. That does all sound good, though. The menu is kind of all over the place, but... the awkward dinner with the three ladies. It ended without anyone saying anything. Really awkward. Splish splash. No, fucking juvie over here. I washed the dishes in the kitchen. Not that I expected everyone to be the best of friends from day one, but couldn't there have been a bit more conversation? I think I made the tempura especially good this time. That does sound pretty good, tempura. I mean, nothing beats tempura shrimp, but tempura vegetables are really good too. It's straight instead of curved, and the outside is crunchy. I mean, a tempura onion is basically an onion ring, but you can do, like, tempura, like, broccoli and, like, I don't know, just all kinds of vegetables. Carrots. Anything but sweet potatoes. I don't like sweet potatoes, because that is a pretty common, like, tempura item. It's straight instead of curved, and the outside is crunchy. It was perfectly made, so they could have at least said something. I've never made tempura, though, I will say. That is not something I've ever tried making, so... But, you know.
そのくせ全部平らげるんだもんな。出たセリフがおかわりかける3ってのは何なんだ。
That does, dude, that, I will say, pretty much all of that did sound pretty good, though. The actual food. Splish splash. Cleaning up after 4 people takes a while. Sure. Now I think about it, is Sakura protesting the situation by not helping today of all days? Kind of funny. It's past 9 p.m. They usually go home around this time.
藤根、帰るなら桜の見送り頼む。
Yeah, they're a little like sus about the situation between Saber and Shiro. I call out from the kitchen while washing the dishes. There is no response. Fujine is watching TV as if it's not her concern.
もしもし、聞こえなかったんですか、藤村先生。
Fujimura sensei? I go to the living room and tap on her head. Then...
悪いけどそれは却下。しばらくはさくらちゃんを送ってあげられないから。
ん？なんでさ。藤根、なんか用でもあるのか？
Keep an eye on you.
ね、用じゃなくて、今日から私もここに泊まるから。
Got him. As if it were nothing, Fujine makes another sneak attack on me.
はい。
あ、さくらちゃんもどう？
Oh my
私から
lord.
連絡入れておくから安心だよ。
Whoa,
女の子
what the
3
hell?
人一緒にいた方が楽しいでしょ。
Don't you mean the 4 of us? All those faces.
藤村先生、頼もしいです。
The various faces are hilarious, but I love that her reaction is, I knew I could count on you, Fujimura sensei. That's ridiculous. Wait, why are you so enthusiastic about it, Sakura?
よーし、それじゃあ奥の座敷を使おう。
団ならいっぱいあるし、浴衣も人数分あるわよ。セイバーちゃんもいいわよね。
We are literally about to have a fucking sleepover with Sakura, Fujimura, and Saber. This is amazing. Holy shit, dude. Why is this episode so good? Why is literally everything that's happened today just amazing? Like, we get the great Berserker fight. That was really cool. Oh my god. This is just... like I said, that Ayako conversation was so good. And then this is just hilarious. Is it just me, or does it sound more like an order? Just no comment from Saber. Saber looks at me as if asking for help.
困りますしろ。私はあなたの守護をするのですから、彼女たちと同じ部屋では役目が果たせない。それに同室したところで、
Dude,
どう対応していいものかわかりません。
if we get to see the three of them in pajamas, I will lose my mind. That would be so hype.
悪い。藤姉が言い出したら俺じゃ止められない。
She is a taiga after all.
それにどうもこれを交換条件にしている節がある。断ったらセイバーをうちに住ませるって約束を破棄されそうだ。そうなったら俺たち外で野宿するしかないぞ。
In other words, just go with it.
それも困る。この屋敷の結界は優れていますから、拠点としては申し分ないのです。ここにいる限り、シロは敵の奇襲に備えられます。
そうか。ならなおさら我慢してくれ。屋敷にいる限り何かあってもすぐに合流できるだろう。
Fair enough.
そう。藤姉の相手は大変だけど、困ったら日本語わかりませんって言えばいい。
ほらそこ、内緒話は禁止なんだから。
They're plotting.
そういうわけでセイバーちゃんはこっち。シロは男の子なんだから一人でも平気よね。
Oh my god, this is crazy. Oh, dude, I need Saber. I need Saber, Sakura, and Fujimura. I need to see this. They can't take this from me. Please spy on them or something, Shiro. It's been decided. Saber's stay got approved, Fujine is staying over, and Sakura is keeping them company too. In only half a day, the occupancy is drastically increased. Actually, this really is comparable to a hotel. Wouldn't be the first time we're saying that. Are we just calling it there? No, okay, I figured, yeah, it's bedtime. I don't know what happened to Saber, but the lights have gone out in that room. The sound of activity from it has gone silent. I've heard it gets noisy when there's three girls together, and it seems that it is true even when they're quiet like Saber and Sakura are.
違うか。
Yeah.
メインで聞こえてきたのは藤姉の笑い声。
Yeah, Fujimura is a demon. The other two are actually quite polite and relatively quiet. Though it was still pretty noisy. It isn't good for my mental health to have girls the same age as me being rowdy under the same roof. Honestly, fair.
くそ。気になって眠気なんてなくなった。
Oh my god, is he actually gonna spy on them? What the fuck is happening? Like Saber's troubled expression, is Sakura and Saber are getting along, or what Fujine is even thinking? The more that I think, the more my head starts hurting. If it's like this, it might have been better if Saber slept in the room next to mine. It's 11 p.m. The lights are out in the house, and there's not a single sound outside. My hand goes to the door to slide it open and tiptoe by so... What the fuck was that? So Fujine doesn't hear anything. What are we doing, bro? Oh, he's gonna do his thing. I go out to the garden. The moon is shining bright while the cutting breeze is cold. In the winter night, the world was silent, as if frozen. Interesting. The shed has gone still. The place where I got cornered by Lancer yesterday, and the place where Saber appeared. The entrance is still open, and the darkness inside feels uninviting. Okay, we're gonna do our ritual. I go inside, closing the door behind me to shut out the cold air. I turn on an old stove heater.
日に200以上の矢をかけろ。
The teaching of archery focuses on accuracy, piercing strength, and persistence. Accuracy is how well one can hit the target. Piercing strength is the power to pierce the target. And lastly, persistence is how long one can maintain the accuracy and piercing strength. Yeah, exactly. But again, we're leaning heavily into the archery theme because fucking Archer. This is gonna be he's gonna be a big part of this story. Like it's so basic, like it's so simple and yet it's perfect. I think I read it somewhere in an archery manual. Once one aims to be a shooter after they learn the true meaning of Kyoto, they continue that forever. So they say to shoot over 200 arrows, or something.
マスターとして何をするべきかわからないなら、せめて魔術だけは鍛えないと。
Yeah, it's the least you can do. I sit down inside the shed and take a deep breath. The sword. It's almost like we saw that recently. I control my breathing and begin my regular training. My mind imagines the same thing that it always does. An image of a sword that comes to mind. Yep. I ignore that and clear my mind even more. Once I've let the magical energy flow throughout my entire body, I practice strengthening like usual. When I was attacked by a Lancer last night, I succeeded in strengthening for the first time in a few years. I need to repeat it so that I don't forget the sensation, or else it would be a waste.
Trace on.
Trace on. I narrow my eyes and breathe out deeply. There it is. That's all for now. I forget all about the Holy Grail War, Saber, and Tohsaka once I immerse myself into the process. Clear all thoughts and hesitation from my mind. But during the process, the thought that Tohsaka, who's a mage like me, might be doing the same kind of training never leaves my head. Sure. Interesting. Oh. Interlude. Is this going to be Tohsaka doing her training? Okay, you have my attention. She weaves her way through an unnatural darkness, a desolate night. While the moonlight shines, she makes her way through the dark hallway and enters a room. What the fuck? What is going on? This is a room of a random building. There are about 50 workers here. Most of them are male, and they are scattered like puppets with their strings severed. Interesting. She grits her teeth. It helps that the darkness limits her vision. The rotten air is from a plant smell that turned into smoke and filled the air. Opening the door and windows, she asks someone behind her. There is no one there. But in the shroud of smoke, a strong presence wavers. Witch's ointment, the kind made from umbellifers that destroys love.
それって毒人参でしょ?
Huh.
愛を破壊って。ああ、そういうこと。男に何か怨恨でもあるのかしらね。この惨状の仕掛け人は。
Interesting.
だとすると、相手は女かな。いや、何の恨みがあるか知らんが、サーバントになってまで八つ当たりするとは根が深い。
Presumably, we're talking about Caster here, but there's no guarantee. I mean, in theory, it could also be, Assassin, sorry, Rider, in theory, but, because, I mean, obviously, it's not Saber.
能書きはいいから窓を開けて。倒れてる連中はまだ息があるか。この分だと今から連絡するのも朝になって発見されるのも変わらない。
That's a crazy quote. But also something that like I feel like is pretty fitting for Rin, but stop mansplaining and open the windows is crazy.
用が済んだら手早く離れるわよ、アーチャー。
She opens all the windows on one side, treats the people in especially bad condition, and leaves the room.
服、クリーニングに出さないと。
She sniffs her coat. Though she was careful not to touch things for the most part, the scent of rust still made it onto her. The room was sealed, and the floor of that room was covered in the blood that 50 or so people threw up. It's crazy. The presence behind her takes form. What appears behind her is a knight in red. He is Archer, the servant who was protecting Rin Tohsaka in spirit form.
それで、やはり流れは竜道寺か。
Well, I mean, in that sense, it could actually be, it potentially be assassin related, but it's most likely still caster.
そうね。奪われた世紀はみんな山に流れていってる。神都で起きてる昏睡事件はほぼ竜道寺にいるマスターの仕業よ。
Mm-hmm.
マスターがどれだけのやつか知らないけど、こんなのは人間の手に余る。可能だとしたらキャスターのサーバントだけでしょ。
Makes sense.
竜道寺に救う魔女か。となると、昨夜は失態を演じたな。
Oh?
失態？バーサーカーと引き分けたこと？あれは最善だったと思うけど。
どうかな。キャスターがそれほど広範囲な網を張っているのなら、昨夜の戦いも盗み見ていただろう。にもかかわらず、バーサーカーを倒せず、セイバーさえ見逃し、こちらは手の内を晒してしまった。これのどこが最善だ。
Oh, it's so cool to hear, like, to be a fly on the wall for a conversation, like a serious, like, Holy Grail War, like, conversation between Tohsaka and Archer. His tone is biting and sarcastic, but Rin does not answer. It was not a mistake to drive Berserker away and help Saber. And most importantly, Archer hasn't shown the full scope of his power yet. Last night, it is true that the arrow that the arrow Archer fired stopped Berserker. But even Rin, his master, has yet to find out his identity, or the identity of that powerful noble phantasm. Yep. No. She knows the principle behind it. It was just a bomb. He just detonated a bomb called a noble phantasm in front of his enemy. Goes without saying how exceptional it was. That was a one-time explosion of magical energy, created using the most powerful of illusions, a noble phantasm. Interesting. Broken phantasm. Interesting! New term just dropped. New lore just dropped. That is what the Red Knight's deadly noble phantasm is called. Interesting. It was a one-time explosion of magical energy created using the most power, and that's why we recognize the sword. Interesting. So it's a little bit like, again, it's a little bit like what we see with Gilgamesh. It's a little bit Gilgamesh-esque. Though that itself is also strange. Servants typically only wield one noble phantasm, and as a part of them that they have had in their past life. What kind of heroic spirit would destroy such a thing so freely? It is not easy to fix a noble phantasm that has been destroyed. It's like committing suicide for a servant to destroy their own, but he's not. It's others. In other words, Archer abandoned his strongest weapon in a situation where he still had 6 enemies he needed to defeat. No more than that, other servants would faint if they found out he destroyed his own noble phantasm. Is there proof as a hero? Which, again, she's going to come to the conclusion that it's something else entirely at play here.
何？ごめん、聞いてなかった。
Yeah, she's like really like, you know, processing things and thinking things through here.
今夜はこれからどうすると聞いたのだ。先ほどの戦闘で疲れているだろうし、大事を取って戻らないかとな。
Rin clenches her fist in response to Archer's words. The previous battle, a large number of skeleton golems wriggling in the hallway. All of them were destroyed by her own hand. She didn't need Archer's help and didn't want to expose Archer's abilities over something like that. More importantly, she felt anger towards enemies who break the rules as a mage and involve innocent people. That's why she destroyed them. She beat them without mercy until there was nothing left. She did not show any sympathy, even if the bones were someone that could have been alive until just the other day. She did not suffer any wounds from this battle, except one. She fought and kept the nausea from overwhelming her. In exchange, she bit her lips so hard it bled.
キャスターを追うわ。気配はまだ残っているんでしょ？竜道寺に逃げられる前に型をつける。
Interesting.
何？驚いたな。できないと思ったことはやらないのが君の主義ではなかったか？
そうよ。私、結果が分かりきっていることはできない。けどこれは別でしょ。今から追いかければ尻尾ぐらいはつかめるだろうし。何より
喧嘩を売らなければ気が済まない。やれやれ。
やれやれ。
相手を放っておいて、最も倒しがたい相手を追うとは。
いいのよ、セイバーのことは放っておいて。あんなのはいつだって始末できるんだから。別に目
Interesting.
の敵にする必要ないじゃない。
You keep telling yourself that, girl.
ちゃんとおとなしくしているんなら無理に手を出すこともないわ。あいつが家に隠れている分には見逃してあげるだけよ。
Interesting.
ほう。では、あのマスターが目の前にいれば話は違うのかな。例えば、未だマスターとしての自覚もないまま、エミやシローの方から君の前に現れたとしたら。
Interesting. Those words are as if to test her. In a voice without emotion, looking down at the night
殺
town.
すわ。
There you go.
そんなこともわからないやつにかける義理なんてない。
Fair enough. Now, whether she means that or not, it's interesting, but it's interesting to be, like, approaching things in this way, in this, route. Rin Tohsaka asserts as if to convince herself, and I love the third person narration instead of the first person is really interesting, too. Interlude out. Love it. That interlude was great, and every interlude is fantastic. Never fails. Yes, I would love to save the game. Thank you very much. I'm not gonna look at what yep. And that will do it for episode 20 of Fate Stay Night. Bonnie and Clyde is a really interesting episode name. No. You're not getting me there. You're not getting me there. But Bonnie and Clyde, apparently the name of the next day of Fate Stay Night. You have my attention there. I assume we're referring. I'm just gonna take a guess and say Bonnie is Rin and Clyde is Archer, but could be referring to Saber and Shiro. Could be referring to some other pair as well. I'll be interested to see the specifics of what that ends up looking like. But that was episode 20 of Fate Stay Night and episode 2 of Unlimited Blade Works. And no, we already, let me actually, go to this screen. But yeah, like I said, that was episode 20 of Fate Stay Night and episode 2 of Unlimited Blade Works. And I have to say, great episode. I went into this with relatively low expectations, just in the sense that I was expecting things to still remain mostly the same to the Fate route. And no, things popped the fuck off and got really interesting and decidedly different from the Fate route. The Berserker fight went much differently than it did in the Fate route, and then we got some other stuff. We made some food for Fujimura, and Rin's not staying with us, at least at the moment. Rin's not staying with us in this route, so she's kind of doing her lone wolf thing alongside Archer. I know that's ironic, alone together, but it is what it is. And overall, it really feels like the Unlimited Blade Works route of Fate Stay Night really kicked off in full force in this episode. It really felt like we're engaging in the second storyline of this game, the second route of this game, and that's really cool, because obviously last episode was basically just a maintenance episode. It basically was just a thing that exists. It was damn near unnecessary, but like I said, it's just the way I like to do these things. But this was more of a proper, full-blown, beginning of Unlimited Blade Works. At least that's how it felt to me, and I really enjoyed it. And I am very invested in this game, in this series, and I'm really excited to see how this route plays out, because I know that Unlimited Blade Works is a lot of people's favorites. I know there's plenty that generally speaking, I don't see a lot of people that put the Fate route as their favorite. I feel like Unlimited Blade Works is probably the most popular, but I do know a lot of you also really stan the Heaven's Feel route as well. But Unlimited Blade Works is very popular, and you know, I think it's off to a great start. I honestly, like, it's hard to compare it to the Fate route, right? Especially when you're re-experiencing some of the stuff, but I kind of want to say that it honestly, to me, it feels like we're off to, I would say, a little bit of a stronger start, I feel like, compared to the Fate route. And I don't know if that's, like, recency biased or just a situation where, like, I think I was really, like, pleasantly surprised by the fact that we already are getting into a lot of new content. But I really enjoyed just kind of the way that everything went. And I like the vibe. I think I also really appreciate the vibe of, like, Rin and Archer kind of doing their own thing, and we can explore that when we're interacting with them, but we can also explore that potentially through some interludes as well. So there's a lot to cook there, and I like that we have a little bit of a different dynamic with Tohsaka doing what she's doing and being a bit more of a lone wolf and a bit more of a, you know, a bit more doing her own thing. Like I said, it gives a different dynamic for Saber and Shiro, and I think it just kind of spices up the whole thing, and that is kind of the whole point of this, right? It's a different route, you know, things... We take a slightly different approach, a few things go differently, and that cascades the ripple effect of you know, the butterfly effect here with everything going on, and creates a whole different timeline, and that's what obviously Unlimited Blade Works is, as opposed to Fate, and obviously we will do this a third time with Heaven's Feel eventually, but yeah, no, I'm really excited. I'm really enjoying this. It feels really good to be back. It literally was December 30th when I recorded it was December 30th of 2024 when I recorded the kind of mostly, like I said, mostly rehash material, episode 19 of Fate and episode 1 of Unlimited Blade Works. And now, here we are, it's literally the middle of March. It's technically it's almost 1 in the morning on March 14th, but really I'm recording this on the night of March 13th, 2025. And, yeah, I have a commitment to basically, this is going to be the first video, but I have a commitment to be consistent for the next, to post daily videos for the next month and a half through the end of April, so... you guys will be getting more Fate episodes. You know, who knows if that consistency continues after April, but I am, like, super committed to make sure I do get, you know, everything popping this next month and a half. So there will be more Unlimited Blade Works on the horizon over the next 6 weeks, and I hope you guys are excited for more episodes of this as we dive deeper into this. And I have to say, like, my hype is, like, I feel like all my hype came back. Like, that Berserker fight, it just injected it into me, and then we got some nice, interesting conversations, which, of course, it's weird, right? Because, like, I really enjoy, like, a huge part of my enjoyment of Fate Stay Night comes from just, like, interesting conversations and dialogue, but then I also do get really invested in the more climactic stuff when like, it just hits right. And obviously, as you guys remember, for those of you, which I assume is almost all of you, if not all of you, who watched my my playthrough of the first route, you know, I got incredibly emotional in those last few episodes. Like, that shit hit fucking hard. And, like, I was... You know, I really enjoyed the experience throughout, but, like, the end game of the Fate route was just, it resonated with me so hard. And I guess that's the one thing... even though I actually do think that this route's off to probably a bit of a more exciting start than Fate personally, I feel like that end game with the Fate route was just so beautiful, and it resonated so deeply with me, and it felt like this game understood me, this story understood me on such a deep level that I do wonder if Unlimited Blade Works and eventually Heaven's Feel can really have that, like, emotional resonance with me towards the end of the story. I think that's the one thing that I think is going to be hard to top, even if I already am getting vibes that I think I might enjoy, as much as I enjoyed the Fate route, because I did love the Fate route, I might enjoy this route maybe more throughout, but I wonder if the ending can hit me the same way that the Fate ending did. But nonetheless, obviously these are thoughts for well in the future, because obviously we have a long journey just with Unlimited Blade Works, let alone the fact that there's a whole nother third route that we're eventually going to cover in this video game. But yeah, I'm having a blast. It feels great to be back, and this time it actually feels like we're back playing Fate Stay Night. It feels like we're truly back in this visual novel, which felt a little different from the first episode, which was a bit of just, it was mostly repeat content, and it felt a bit of a jumbled mess, and even my commentary, just everything about that felt off. And despite the fact that I then didn't actually play this for like a few months after, this whole episode I feel like felt really natural. Like even my commentary felt really natural, and I was, even though I hadn't done it in a while, the rhythm, I like it. This one felt like riding a bike, whereas the last one felt like an absolute mess. And so I'm glad that this one, I think, came out really well from what I could tell on my end. And I had a blast, and I'm super excited to just dive further into Fate Stay Night and see what else Unlimited Blade Works has to show. But already getting a lot of interesting teases. The Broken Phantasm with Archer is super interesting, and again, he's got like a Gilgamesh type thing going on, and I'm very interested to explore that further and like where the hell that's going to go. And I don't have the slightest clue as to who he could necessarily represent, but again, I don't think I'm super knowledgeable about this stuff, to be perfectly honest. So even, you know, I don't expect to figure out anything out. I'm just so curious to see where all that goes. I'm super excited, and I can't wait to like to dive into that. But obviously it's going to be a while before we get a reveal like that. Obviously that's going to be, the Archer reveal is going to be the Unlimited Blade Works equivalent to the Saber reveal in the Fate route. Like, it's going to be like probably halfway through the story, give or take, and it's going to be a big moment when they reveal who Archer is, just like it was a big moment when they revealed who Saber was. And apparently I was like one of the only people on the fucking planet who didn't actually know who Saber was, because I've learned after the fact that even most people who like don't know much about Fate know who Saber is, which is really funny. And like, I knew what she looked like or whatever, but I didn't know like the context. Like, I didn't actually know like the big lore like drop moment, like, and all that. So it was really cool. That was a huge moment when we found that out. But I am really excited to see where it goes with Archer, because I mean, I love him so much. Like I said, I think I stand by the fact that along with Rin, like, they're my favorite characters. So just diving deeper into them could be so cool. And like I said, I think how like the Shiro and Saber stuff plays out is going to be super interesting in this arc as well, in this route as well. So so many good things that we got in this episode. It feels like this is going to be perhaps a bit less Ilya focused than the Fate route. Obviously, Rin doesn't look like she's going to be hanging out with us anytime soon, as far as actually living with us and being like a constant presence in Shiro's life. So I'm interested to see how everything gets balanced together, because they are heavily emphasizing the Archer themes in this episode with Shiro. So obviously the connections between Archer and Shiro are being emphasized, and I can't wait to see how they're cooking right now. Everything is simmering. We're on a boil. Like, everything's cooking, and I just can't wait to see how it all comes together. I'm super excited for that. But anyways, if you want to support the channel, Patreon's down below in the description. But yeah, without any further ado, it's time for me to bid you adieu. Flamin' Shark signing out. Hope you have a wonderful, fantastical day, and I'll see you next time with another video. Thanks for watching. Peace.